Well, I'm Kid Rocket, I'm the real McCoy, and I'm headed out west, because I wanna be a cowboy, baby. With a top left back and the sunshine shining, cowboy, baby. Let's go chillin' with the boom. I wanna be a cowboy, baby. Ride at night while I sleep all day. I bet you'll hear my whistle blowing when my train rolls in. It goes like dust in the wind. With the top left back and the sunshine shining. With the top left back and the sunshine shining.
Welcome to Fontana, California, 50 miles east of Los Angeles. Today, one of Hollywood's most famous expressions awaits racing's most famous words. Gentlemen, start your engines will result in lights, camera, action. It's time for Busch Series Racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. From the California Speedway, the 9th race of the Busch season, Todd Bodine, the current points leader, followed by Ron Hornaday and David Green. At our corporate headquarters, the Hollywood Hotel, overlooking Pit Road, as we go to where the races are to bring you closer to the action. A terrific day to go racing at this 2-mile California Speedway. Hi, for all of us here, I'm Chris Myers. Glad to have you with us for a big weekend of racing on Fox. Sunday, you'll see Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon in the Auto Club 500, beginning at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. Today's race featuring Kevin Harvick on the pole with Michael Waltrip alongside last year's race winner Scott Riggs, starting from row 6. Jeff Hammond, our crew chief, joining us here from the Hollywood Hotel. We had 18 drivers during qualifying with record-breaking speed, so it looks like fast times at Fontana High.
Yeah, it really is right now, Chris, for sure. Because of these quick qualifying speeds, I look for this race here to be fast and furious for sure. But the main thing that's going to happen here today is you're going to see probably about 20-25 cars really fighting for the lead all day long, because this racetrack is so wide, it really offers itself up for some great racing.
All right, and Harvick on the pole, and we'll see him Sunday. Not happy with his Cup car?
No, he's not very happy at all with his Cup car. He told me, he said, I'd really like to get an opportunity to take some of what I've got here on my Busch car, take it to my Cup car, so today may be a golden opportunity for him to get into victory lane if he wants to win in California.
And we'll keep a close watch on that. The opening ceremony is about to begin. 300 miles, 150 laps. Let's go trackside for the invocation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we draw your attention to Gatorade Victory Lane, presenting the colors of the United States of America, the Civil Air Patrol, United States Air Force Auxiliary, Chino Cadet Squadron number 20, presenting the colors of the United States of America. Please stand, take off your hats, and welcome Tim Griffin from MRO for the invocation.
Our God and Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for this spectacular weather. We ask that you would bless today's race. Thank you for all the competitors and the teams that have worked so hard to put this event together. We ask your blessings upon each one, for we ask all these things because of your grace and mercy. Amen.
And now, please remain standing, and welcome back to California Speedway, 12-year-old with a voice you won't soon forget, Rochelle Delbin.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare
Now for the world champion Angels, Jared Washburn, Mickey Callaway, and John Lackey.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Time to go racing the California Busch weather.
And to get you ready for today's race, the trio that'll be calling it lap by lap, as they always do here on Fox and across the Fox family of networks. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, Mike Joy. Gentlemen, start your talking.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. Darrell, this is not a sprint race. It's too long for that. It's not an endurance race. How do you run it?
Well, you run it hard. You know, it's a prelude to tomorrow's race, and I think you'll see some things today that we could probably, the guys in the garage area, the Winston Cup guys are going to be watching this race very closely. Tire wear, fuel mileage, all those things, they'll take that information and use it tomorrow. So it's kind of like a fun race for the drivers and a learning experience for some of the guys over in the garage area.
Larry, this track has become now one of the fastest in NASCAR. How much adjustability do you build into a car for a run like this?
Well, the biggest thing that makes these guys nervous, I mean, the track temperature right now is about 30 degrees hotter than their last time on the racetrack. We've had Winston Cup practice. We've even had a Winston Western race. So this racetrack is very different. So you had to build adjustability in that race car, knowing you're probably going to have to go to it very early because the track is very different from the last time they practiced.
All right, we're set to go for 300 miles. Chris.
All right, thanks, guys. And coming up, we're going to hit the pits to hear from our pit reporters. You'll hear from Matt Kenseth, who, of course, the Winston Cup points leader, but he's won this California Busch race twice. Stay with us. NASCAR Busch Series Racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha. Headed your way in a moment.
Welcome back to bright and sunny California Speedway, where it's in the 70s. Nice and sunny, not too humid, no rain in sight.
Well, we talked about it in the opening. You look at that track temperature, 114 degrees. The track temperature wasn't much warmer than about 73 degrees yesterday in their final practice.
Let's go down to pit road. Dick Berggren.
California's own Kevin Harvick won the pole for today's race with a new track record. He has also won in Winston West competition here and in IROC competition, and he won Happy Hour. Talk to the people he will race today, and they will tell you he is the favorite to win this race. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Dick, Harvick's biggest competition could come from fellow Californian and teammate Ron Hornaday Jr. In fact, Hornaday's team matched their setup to the 21 car of Harvick's. Hornaday hasn't won a Busch Series race in 2 years, but they're also keeping their eye on points. Second in points, he's hoping to help car owner Richard Childress reach his dream of winning the car owners championship with a 21 and the driver's title with a 2. He'd love a win here in Fontana. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Todd Bodine is the points leader. He has a win at this racetrack. You think there'd be plenty of reason for optimism, right? Well, maybe not. The pit equipment is white, it's plain, as is the race car. They've been racing week to week without a sponsor. I talked to crew chief Tony Liberati just moments ago. I said, will you be in Richmond next week? He said, I can't tell you that. All I know is this race team is here, and we're going to go down swinging. To Jeannie Zelasco.
On to the rich and famous. This is the fourth of 15 Busch races Matt Kenseth will partake in 2003. There was no way he was going to miss California. He has 2 wins here, 3 top 5s. He will be behind the wheel of his Vegas car, where he rolled a 6, as in 6 laps in at his Motor Blue. Since Lady Luck was not kind to him, he's looking for better luck here. A Hollywood ending, you might say, so close to Tinseltown. Mike?
Thanks, Jeannie. Let's have a look at our Prestone starting grid for today's 1-800-PitShop.com 300. 7th career pole for Kevin Harvick. New track record. The Californian has lots to smile about. He and Mikey on the front row. Ron Hornaday Jr., another Californian. Best start of the year for him. David Rudiman alongside. Stacy Compton, 3rd here a year ago. First California start for Brian Vickers. Chad Blunt, a rookie, and Johnny Sauter, sophomore, there in row 4. Casey Kane and David Green, the winner 2 weeks ago in Nashville. Then you'll see Scott Riggs, the defending champion of this race, with Bobby Hamilton Jr. And let you have a look down through the rest of the starting lineup, which includes point leader Todd Bodine there.
I know everybody's pointing to Harvick as the man to beat, and I think he probably is, but my brother said he has a good car, and I tell you, keep an eye on that 5 car as well, because he's been awfully strong last several weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the competition in the Busch Series every week, but Kevin Harvick, he laid one on him yesterday qualifying, almost a half a second quicker than Michael, and that's something that's hard to do today.
And what I liked about it, he did it on his first lap, and he didn't even run the second one. He just brought her on to pit road, which I don't blame him.
No need to.
One driver here making his first Busch Series start. And you'll find him back in row 15. That'll be Carlos Contreras, graduate of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He'll line up 30th. Actually, more than a full field here for this race. Several teams sent home once the 43-car starting grid was filled yesterday.
I mean, it's a very popular race. And, you know, like the Winston Cup Series, we're a fourth of the way through the Busch Series. This is where you say, okay, we've had a weekend off. Let's get our season turned around. People like Randy LaJoie, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Scott Wimmer, runner-up in the points last year. This is where they want to turn that curve and get that season turned around.
Particularly Randy LaJoie, because he was coming off a great run. Set on pole at Nashville a couple of weeks ago and was really running well, had trouble in the race.
There are the 3 drivers who failed to qualify: Teague, Persley, and Hedleski. Fontana, California, shaped a lot like Michigan International Speedway, a little bit east of the former Ontario Motor Speedway. Those aerial views courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company from Goodyear's newest blimp, the Spirit of America.
I mean, you think about all the sports facilities in the state of California, all the ball stadiums, football stadiums, the Rose Bowl. A lot more people here even today than we'll see at the Rose Bowl.
Well, they don't put RVs in the infield at the Rose Bowl.
Exactly.
But there's more seats here, too.
Here's
300 miles.
Race analysis right here, and I'll tell you guys, we'll keep a close watch on that 48 to 52 laps. It probably will be an issue on fuel before the day's out.
Well, it doesn't matter, East Coast or West Coast, it's that time again.
Well, DW,
oh man,
like I told you in the truck series, reach up there and pull them belts tight. Let's go.
It's one of my favorite racetracks. 200 mile an hour, green flag. Boogity, 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 boys, let's go!
Well, your brother maybe didn't hear the call, Darrell. He wasn't quick off the mark like our pole sitter, Kevin Harvick, was.
His teammate Ron Hornaday in that 2 car, he wants to take advantage. And I mean, look how they stretched out already off turn 2.
Actually, I think Michael may have been recovering from an early. I think he started to go and realized that he couldn't go before the pole sitter did, and had to check up just a teeny bit.
Yeah, he had no trouble getting up to speed.
Yeah.
They were 3 wide mid-pack trying to sort this out as they got down the backstretch into turn 3.
And as Larry said, and as we talked about, the track is a lot different than what these guys were on when they were on it earlier. And so it was cloudy and overcast. Now it's hot and slick.
Todd Bodine, 3 wide, taking no prisoners, charging toward the front. The point leader with everything to gain, like a sponsor, and little to lose.
Yeah, and what we've seen here in the earlier race, we had it in happy hour as well. The outside groove, the top of the racetrack's really coming in well, and these guys are able to get up there and make some passes.
Ashton Lewis in the middle, Matt Kenseth on the bottom. That was Chad Blunt upstairs. Plenty of room to go here, 3 wide. Michael trying the move on the deuce of Hornaday. That's for second place. He's got enough room. Trouble turn 4. 1 car bounces around. Spins and slides to the infield.
Several cars come down pit road. Caution is out.
26 car just going by with a lot of damage on the right side.
It was Troy Klein in the 79 was the car that was down to the infield grass. So caution out quickly here at lap 2. Matt Kenseth went from 17th to 7th on the first lap.
And I'm going to tell you, walking through the garage this morning, of course, everybody was pointing toward Kevin Harvick. They said, watch that 17 car. He's good on long runs.
I think we'll see the 26 car come to pit road. Lance North there, and they had a lot of damage to the right side. I'm not sure what he got into. We'll see here. Car spinning around.
Might have got a boost from that white car. Didn't catch the number. Might have been Regan Smith.
Everybody did. Oh, there's how the 26 and another other white car on the outside. I see they bounced off each other.
Now Regan Smith has a little right front damage, and I think he is the likely culprit. And somebody's shed a skin.
Lost his tar.
3 laps complete. Caution out at lap number 2 for Regan Smith and Troy Klein. They're getting together. And a view from inside the production truck. The NASCAR Busch Series on Fox is presented by Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And brought to you by new icebreakers, Unleashed Gum. Unleash yourself. And by Old Spice. And by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. Welcome back to California Speedway, where 3 cars got involved up in turn number 4, putting us under the first caution of the day. As you know, we split our season with NBC. Jeannie splits her season between NASCAR on Fox and Major League Baseball on Fox. So look who she's found.
Yeah, we're gearing up for MLB on Fox, which, by the way, begins Saturday, May 17th, so don't forget about that. And who can forget about the Anaheim Angels and what a tremendous season they had last year. Mickey Callaway, Jared Washburn, you guys joining me, John Lackey. What brings you out to the track?
We just came out here, Wash set this up, I think, and came out here and enjoy the race and see what their lives are like.
Well, Wash, now you told me that you came out here last season and it led to an eventual world championship. So you're predicting a repeat?
Yeah, last year I came out here and we weren't playing very well early in the season, turned us around. We went on to win the World Series. So this year we're not playing well again. So I thought maybe come out here and take our chances, see if it helps us out.
All right, but it is early. But did he recruit you to come out here today to say this will really turn us around?
Definitely. I need some good luck right now. I've been struggling, so I came out here with him. We're gonna find it right here. And Tony Stewart, we got to meet him and hang out with him, and he's been really cool. It's been a cool experience.
He's the rally monkey. Could take it here at the track. Could he hang?
I don't know. I think Rally Monkey's probably got some sensitive ears, and he might find a hole to hide in.
But you got some serious thunder sticks in just underneath the engine, in the engine of these cars.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you'd be able to hear the thunder sticks too well here. But, you know, it's fun, and it's loud, and it's adrenaline. It's fun.
All right, we got Tennessee, we got Texas, and we got Wisconsin represented. So you guys enjoy the race. We're hanging out in Kenson's pit, Wisconsin boy, and we'll check back with you on MLB on Fox. Did I say begins May 17th? Back to you guys.
Twice.
What in the world were they talking about? Thunder sticks and funky monkeys.
I think a thunder stick is a Louisville Slugger. By brand name.
I don't think it had anything to do with arrow push.
I don't know.
No mileage or anything of that nature.
Double aggressive or something.
Angel fans have thunder sticks. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like it's like a do-rag wave towel.
Well, maybe they can use one on that car right there.
Gonna need to. Steve Burns.
Well, Mike Joy, Johnny Sauter needs a rally monkey right about now. He started 8th, but he just pitted, not for tires. They went down on the track bar 4 rounds and put 2 rounds of bite in. Johnny describing the car as crying super loose.
Well, and I think, Steve, we talked about this a couple of times in the opening. I think this is a product of how different this racetrack is now from when these guys were on the track the last. There's not a surprise it's a looser racetrack because of how much rubber's been put down on it and how much hotter the track temperature is.
Yeah, the only thing that'd be worse than that is if it was wicked loose. That's as loose as you can get.
What'd you say, funky monkey before?
Isn't
that a Ben and Jerry's flavor?
It might be.
NASCAR Busch Series presented by Yamaha. We'll be back 6 laps complete here at California Speedway on Fox.
Fox Sunday. Triple your pleasure with 3 big hours of comedy. First, on a full hour of King of the Hill, when headlights attack, Hank has the cure.
I don't want to have to put the plastic cone around your neck. Yep.
Then, on a full hour of The Simpsons, the family goes west.
Look at those stupid city slickers with their fur coats and pointy hats.
Those are elk.
Whatever.
But can they survive life on a dude ranch?
Stop shoving! The little one isn't getting any.
And when Malcolm's parents go away, the boys will play.
You've seen enough teenage movies to know how badly this is going to turn out.
An all-new Malcolm in the Middle. Followed by a shocking new Oliver Bean at a special time. And you won't believe what the boys do on live TV.
I just got my ass handed to me by a clown!
Catch all new episodes and 3 big hours of comedy. It all starts at 7/6 Central, Fox Sunday.
All race long. Log on to America Online or NASCAR.com and get track pads. NASCAR.com. America Online, keyword NASCAR.
Speaking of trading, good luck. This is a rally monkey from Anaheim, from the Angels. the team MVP, World Series winning Anaheim Angels, and it's on Matt Kenseth's pit board today.
If Sarah was here, she'd say that was a Beanie Baby.
Let's have another look at what brought out the caution, because it was a little different than we first thought. It's going to start way in the upper right of your screen, and it's Jason Schuler, the 73, the white car that turns Troy Klein around. Regan Smith was involved, but he got pushed up into the wall by Lance Norrick. Here's another angle, and you'll see Smith's white car knocked into the wall there by Norrick, who was trying to get away from a car that slowed.
And we see so many problems in turn 4 here, and I think it's a product. You're backing the throttle so early back in the middle of the corner. If you have to roll out of it at all to get the car to turn, the guy behind you don't realize it, gets into the back of you.
Yeah, it's a big sweeping turn as you come out of there. I mean, this is the D part of the D-shaped track. Back straightaway is pretty short. Getting off of 2's tight, getting into 3 is tight, but when you come out of 4, you got a lot of room to maneuver, but you run out of racetrack too. So you get an overhead view of the track, and you can see that it's just a great big D.
Big, long, sweeping, curving front straightaway.
And you get back in the gas real early, way back here in the turn 3, in the middle of 3 and 4, and you don't get out of it until you get all the way down here in the middle of 1 and 2. The front straightaway is the fastest part of this racetrack.
And the pace car is getting set to make the sharp left turn onto pit road. We're going back to green. Kevin Harvick has led every lap. Michael Waltrip, Ron Hornaday, Stacy Compton, David Rudiman.
We hear that Chris Bingham, the 39 car, was penalized a lap, being held a lap for pitting out of his pit box. Single file restart, pretty much everyone still on the lead lap.
Kevin Harvick wasted no time in giving this field a goodbye look.
I mean, what a season he's had. This is only his 5th start in the Busch Series. They ran 9. This is the 9th race. He's led more laps in the Busch Series than anyone else, even the guys that have ran all the races.
But like you said yesterday, Darrell, as we watched Mike Bliss with a 20 move up, if Harvick could only put together on Sunday the success he enjoys on
Boy,
Sunday.
I just can't get over the fact of how well these Busch cars run for children and how they struggled with their Cup cars, because it seems to be like with Michael and Dale Jr. and others in Kenseth, they take that information and apply it to those Cup cars and they get good results.
Chad Blunt side by side with Bobby Hamilton Jr. That races for 11th place. Brian Vickers in the 5, and here comes Take No Prisoners Todd Bodine.
I mean, he was able to pick up the throttle so early in the corner, and he's going to pass about 3 cars here from the middle of turn 1 and 2 down the backstretch.
Well, that's where over there off of turn 2, you can tell who's got the most gear, because you got to have a little grunt to get up out of that corner over there. It's real tight. Cars get a little pushy there. Guy with the lowest gear usually can win the drag race down the back straightaway.
And the trouble that Todd Bodine's in, and why we dwell on it so much, is that in this series, winning cannot pay the bills. Without sponsorship, it is impossible to keep from digging deep in your pocket to run a season with the expense of racing today.
No, I've said it many times, and we're not a self-sustaining sport. We have to have outside help to do what we do. We have to have sponsorship.
Jason Keller moving on Blunt to the low side. Going to take Tony Raines with him. That's yellow number 33. And on the outside, here comes Jamie McMurray in the 1.
I mean, Jason Keller, brand new race car here, wanting to get his season turned back around. The 57 car, 3 consecutive finishes, the last 3 races of 15th or worse.
And been running good in all those races. He was running good in Daytona, and he got crashed on the last lap. Running good at Nashville and pitted and cut a tire down. He just had bad racing luck.
Closer to the front, Stacy Compton has moved into 3rd, displacing Ron Hornaday. So it's Harvick, Waltrip, Compton, Hornaday, and David Rudiman. There's Compton.
Finished 3rd here last year. He was one of the ones we were talking about, like Randy LaJoie, Scott Wimmer. They'd like to get their season turned around here.
Right behind him, here comes Rudiman. Rudiman to the inside of Hornaday. And a gaggle back here.
Well, you can do that here. You know, if the straightaways are so long, or the front particularly, you can get a lot of draft. And so you can draft up on the cars in front of you. You get off the corner a little slower than they do,
but you get such a good suck down the straightaway that you pull right back up on the back of it.
Joe Nemechek, I think, dipping down to the bottom there.
Going by his teammate.
I'm sorry, it's Kerry Earnhardt.
Yeah, Nemechek is not with us anymore.
To the garage.
He did take his car to the garage.
Matt Yoakum.
Michael Waltrip's trying to reel in Harvick and win his season's first Busch Series race, but there's concern in the 99 pit about a vibration. Michael said on the original start today, he felt a vibration going up through the gears. Not sure how serious yet. Bobby Kennedy's crew chief told me that they've had that vibration since they unloaded. They have changed a number of things, which indicates it's not in the drive line. He's concerned it may be in the engine or the rear end gear. Michael currently runs in second.
Yeah, I know they changed the drive shaft a couple of times. He complained about that initially when they first went on the racetrack on Friday. So whatever they got is something that they haven't put their finger on yet. Originally they thought it might be a set of tires, then they thought it was a drive shaft.
Whoa! What happened to Harvick?
He just drove it in there way, way too hard. He saw Michael. You know what happened? He's looking back. When you look back, that's what happens. He knew Michael was back there. He looked back to see where he was, and he lost control of his car there for an instant.
Yeah, I mean, even though this racetrack is 75 feet wide, it's still a very hit your mark. You have to be so focused hitting those marks. If you miss it a little bit, then what happens to Kevin Harvick?
Was Michael close enough to maybe taking some of the air off of Harvick's spoiler?
I don't think so. He's up on the outside there. I think Kevin just got down in there real hard, and the car you see broke loose with him. And like I said, I think he was probably wanting to know where Michael was about long then, and he found out.
You can find him now, Steve.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick just told Butch Hilton, his crew chief, I almost wrecked. Butch said, tell me what that race car's doing. He said, it's real free getting into the corners. Butch said, wait till we burn off a little fuel. It'll handle better.
And what he means by that, what they're banking on is you burn the fuel off, it's going to gain more weight on the front wheels, more front percentage, and that will tighten the car up. That will take some of the looseness away. But you know you're going to be full of fuel 3 or 4 times during the course of the day.
Well, right now there's nothing they can do but wait on it to burn off some fuel. They get a caution, then they can make some other changes. But that's the kind of thing that I want to hear from my crew chief. You know, give me something. Tell me that the car's going to get better, whether it is or not.
And that wiggle is at about 165 or 70 miles per hour.
You know, that doesn't look like much at home, but you can imagine what that would do to a driver's heart rate.
It just skips a beat.
But just one?
But
maybe one or maybe a dozen. Jeff?
Hey, Darrell, what I was wondering about was, we talk about this racetrack, how big and wide and massive it is, and talk about hitting your marks. Does the fact that there's not any lines to kind of define the different lanes around the racetrack, does that hurt or help a driver?
Well, I think anytime there's no other lines other than the one around the inside, you have a tendency to ride that white line. I always like lines so I can tell mainly where the other guy is. It's kind of like driving down the highway. You got your lane, he's got his, but you can't really tell where they are if they don't have any lines on the racetrack. But you know, there's a reason they don't put lines on racetracks.
Rip?
Well, that's one part of it, but the sun, when you paint put a white strip on the track, the sun has a tendency to, the track settles down around that white line and makes a slick spot.
There you see no lines. The only line is at the bottom of the racetrack. And I'm going to tell you a guy that's the only line he's looking at is that bottom white line around the bottom of the corners. Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. He just moved past Stacy Compton, the third. I've been watching the scoring monitor. He's about 0.2 of a second a lap quicker than our leader right now, Michael Waltrip.
Well, I mean, you want to run the shortest distance. And that's right around the bottom on the white line. You move around on the track. If you have to end up running high, it's because your car is making you do it. You don't necessarily want to do it, but the car says, hey, I'm not going to go on the bottom anymore. You got to find another place for me to go.
Kenseth, who started 17th, has now climbed to third. He's about 1.6 seconds off the lead.
And that's the kind of driver you want. A driver that says, okay, the car's not working here. Move around on the racetrack. Find a place where it is working.
Speed's at the line.
Right now, our leader, Michael Waltrip, had the quickest speed, but Matt Kenseth did have the second quickest speed. Right now, Kevin Harvick, the second place car, he was 4th quickest.
Stacy Compton holds on to 4th. David Ruderman anchors the top 5, driving for Joe Nemechek. Welcome back to Fontana, where Michael Waltrip has now led 9 of 24 laps. Kevin Harvick led the first 15. The biggest mover, Jamie McMurray, from 25th to 11th. Matt Kenseth has come from 17th to 2nd.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray actually just went in the top 10. He's 9th now, and then there you see him in the 1 car. Talked to Mark Reno, John Wolf, crew chiefs on that car this morning. They were not happy at all with that race car. And happy hour yesterday, major changes this morning, and he's moving to the front.
Car really looks good. It doesn't look like it's got that dreaded push that these cars have a tendency to pick up here off the corners.
Brian Vickers running in 17th. Just back as Shane Meal, just ahead of Kevin Grubb. Here's Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike, he's not very happy with that race car. He started in the 6th position, as you noted, dropped all the way down to 17th, just like Kevin Harvick. He's extremely loose. In fact, his problem is he can't get back on the throttle when he's exiting the corner. Let's go to Matt.
Steve, at this juncture, Michael Waltrip says no adjustments. They are halfway through their fuel run. He says no adjustments on the 99 when they stop. The only problem now, besides that vibration, is the mirror. The car is vibrating so bad, Michael cannot see anything out the mirror, so he has told his spotter, you're going to have to help me, especially when cars start to close and get around me.
Of course, when a car is vibrating, it's such a distraction because if you can't pinpoint it, you don't know if it's a tire, you don't know if it's something in the engine, it kind of keeps you on edge. And then, of course, your mirror vibrating around because of it. It's just so many things going on in that cockpit right now that distract you from doing your job.
6th place, David Rudiman. 7th is Mike Bliss. Casey Kane has moved past Rudiman up into the top 5 now, and Rudiman's going to surrender a spot to the defending Craftsman Truck Series champ, Dick Berggren.
Well, Rudiman started in 4th position today. This is the biggest racetrack that he has ever run on in his career. He had been primarily a short track racer before hooking up with Joe Nemechek's team. He'd never even been to California. His idea is sightseeing here, the airport, the racetrack, the hotel, the racetrack, and then he's going to go home when it's all done.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to also compete for the All-Pro Series championship, but he's going to miss the first race because it's tonight in Greenville, South Carolina, but he'll pick up here in a few weeks and try to run the rest of them.
He was runner-up for that title last year. Mike Bliss completes the pass, moves up into 6th.
And I think that's a cool deal with the Hills Brothers deal that they put somebody like that in a great car like Joe Nemechek's and give him a chance to show what he can do other than just on the short tracks back in the South.
David Green on the inside in a 3-wide battle. That's Scott Wimmer way up on the outside.
David Green in the 37, of course, the winner 2 weeks ago over at Nashville. The first Busch Series regular to get a win this year.
Oh, and I tell you, it was exciting, too. He did it on the last lap.
That was Kevin Grubb in the middle.
Well, I'll tell you what, somebody better be telling Michael Waltrip about the 17 car right now if he can't see him in the mirror, because he is there, Jeannie.
Absolutely, and it's one thing that Matt Kenseth has been saying most this entire weekend. They're looking for consistency this weekend, and they've been seeing consistency with time. It's been a lot of chatter on the radio for spotting and giving him lap speeds. Really, the only thing that Matt has talked about car-wise, he says it's a little bit free.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I don't know that I would adjust on that race car right now because the characteristics of this racetrack, Darrell, and you know it, normally the warmer it gets, the more rubber gets down on the racetrack, the more fuel we burn off, the car tends to want to pick up a push. So if it's a little free, you don't want it loose, but a little free is probably not bad.
And these things have 390 carburetors on them, so they don't have as much horsepower as a Winston Cup car does. So running it free means you're going to get maximum power out of your engine, too. It's not all bound up with the wheels cut trying to push up off the corner.
Well, these are the same engines as Winston Cup, just that smaller carburetor takes about 80 horsepower away.
And, you know, we were talking about Kenseth and his qualifying. I mean, he didn't qualify all that well in this Busch car, and he doesn't qualify all that well in his Cup car. But as soon as the green flag drops, here he comes, boogity, 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 right to the front.
But Michael's not willing to give up on this deal. I mean, he keeps running that high line and keeps keeping tempo with Matt right now.
Oh, Matt's going to split him. Is he going to get the lead? Nope.
Well, you get off when you come off that low off of turn 4 there, hard to carry a lot of momentum. Come off on the high side, you're a little freer and you get a good straightaway speed. That's what Michael's doing now. He's just keeping him pinned down. As long as Michael can run out there on the outside of him and Matt doesn't have the room to slide up, he can hold him down there for a while. But you see, there goes Matt right up in front of him. Now he'll drive off and leave him.
You know, a lot of times, Darrell, you'll talk about, hey, those guys running side by side. That's not doing them any good. But this racetrack is so wide, it's easy on tires. You can get by with here. I've been actually watching their lap times, and they're still running side by side. They're quicker than Kevin Harvick, the third-place car right now.
Unscheduled pit stop for Jeff Streeter. He'll change tires, come back out. Mike Harmon had a moment here, and running alongside the 6 of Damon Lusk.
Hello. And what that is you get down under a guy, you're cutting the thing left, turning it left to make the corner. You get back in the throttle, and all of a sudden the front tires bite. And then when they bite, the back end hops out. It's what you call the hospital hop.
There is your lead battle. Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip. They have left Kevin Harvick 5 seconds back in third place, Steve.
Mike DW says he likes to hear from that crew chief. Butch Hilton just told him you're doing a great job with that loose race car. We're going to get you onto pit road on about lap 50. So when we get you in, we're going to lower your track bar 1 round and adjust tire pressure.
You know, watching Michael and Matt up there race, maybe Michael just wanted somebody to race with. What do you think?
Possible.
I'll tell you what, right now they're the class of the field because they're the only cars that's even running in the 41-second bracket. Everybody else is like 42-20s and slower.
Yeah, well, Matt, you know, chased him down, and maybe Michael can't see out his mirror, and all of a sudden they had a race going on.
They're going to lap past Carlos Contreras, making his Busch debut.
And going back to Steve Burns' report on Kevin Harvick, you know, right now, 33 laps into this run, that race car, they have finally figured out it's not going to tighten up its own. We're going to have to make adjustments to that car. I think a lot due to track temperature.
No, Michael just went right around that, back in the lead.
Won't be long before we have pit stops here at California Speedway. We're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on Fox, presented by Yamaha. Welcome back to Fontana, California. The NASCAR Busch Series. Michael Waltrip back up front. Matt Kenseth led just 2 laps. Michael, 21 circuits. Kevin Harvick, 15. And they are the front 3. Waltrip, Kenseth, Harvick, then Stacy Compton, Casey Kane.
Well, when I was a driver, I thought as a driver, and now I'm an analyst, and I still think as a driver. And I just think they're playing games. That's what I think. He caught Michael. He passed him, got 5 bonus points. I don't know if that means anything to him or not. Now they're just maybe saving fuel. I don't know what he's doing, but Matt looks awfully fast.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these 2 cars, I don't think the points mean anything because they don't run all of the races. They come for one thing and one thing only. Each week that they're here, win the race.
Darrell, is this where you're trying to figure out how to pass them when you need to pass them?
It could very well be. I mean, he could be analyzing, analyze this. Maybe they're just showing each other something.
Caution is out. Randy LaJoie in the 7 car. Oops. Looks like that is an engine failure.
A lot of smoke out
Hang
the
on,
back.
Randy.
Well, yeah, and he's putting down a lot of fluid, and he's riding that thing up to the...
Might be a loose oil line.
So LaJoie, former champion of this series.
I don't think that's a blown engine, Larry. I think that's an oil line. Because he's carrying a good bit of speed.
Like it's still running.
Yeah. I think he's broken an oil line or an oil line loose or something on the hood.
This was a big break for like Hermie Sadler, Corey Gibbs, Mike Wallace. Oh. There were several cars fixing to go.
I was going to say, a lot of people were getting ready to get in trouble here.
Second caution of the day comes at lap 40.
Now this will definitely bring everybody to pit road to put fuel in their car. Yeah, he just came by on the front stretch and his car was still running.
Yeah, and there's not any traces of fluid that's getting on the racetrack. Well, I take that back. I do see some now.
And Darrell, what I would say, we're 40 laps into this race. We have 110 to go. I think this is a great time. Let's go ahead and put 4 tires on the car. That means we probably can run the rest of the race by just changing right side tires. But this is a very borderline time to be able to make this race on 1 more pit stop on fuel.
Well, then let me ask you this, Larry. When they open the pits, do you come in? Or maybe could you wait until just before they go green?
I think if you're up at the front of the pack, you got to come on in, get your work done, get back out there. If you're back of the pack, yeah, let's wait. Let's see when they give the 1 to go, how many laps there is to go.
That's the beauty part sometime about being in the middle or to the rear of the field. It gives you options that the leaders don't have. They can't give up the track position. they're leading the race. Sometimes you ought to, but you just can't make yourself do it. Guy middle of the pack and on back, he does, and he ends up winning the race because he came in the pits.
But this is one of those races, 150 laps, that you have to work it from the back. You have to figure I can run 50 laps, and you have to start figuring it from the back of the race. Can you make it to the end?
Guys, Randall Joy just came by us on pit road here, and his engine was still running. He was putting down a lot of fluid, so I know right now NASCAR has probably got to put down a lot of speedy drive, probably blow this racetrack. He did have a lot of fluid coming out of that race car.
Jeff, he was down on the apron for when he went in turn 1 and it happened. He kind of rode up the middle of 1 and 2, but then from there on, as he went around the track, he kept it down on the apron. So hopefully all the oil and fluid that came out of that car is down low out of the groove.
He's definitely got a problem right now. You see the leaders getting ready to come on pit road.
But LaJoie is trying to stay on the lead lap, so they're going to button it up, send him back out and around, they hope, and keep him on the lead lap.
Well, now, it looks like they're holding him.
Yep.
I guess they were going to try to get back out, and the inspector says, no, you haven't fixed the problem.
Pit road's open now. Jeannie.
Matt Kenseth looking for creativity. He asked on the radio, any ideas? I'm a little tight in the middle. They talked about wedge, but decided to take a pound and a half out of the left side tires. Matt?
Michael Waltrip's car was fast. He's still trying to tweak it. The car was tight at the end of that run. An air pressure adjustment in the right front and a 4-tire change. They thought about a track bar adjustment, but Michael waved it off to Steve Burns.
Matt, Kevin Harvick's going to get 1 round down on the track bar. They're also going to put a spring rubber in the left rear tire. He's complaining of that race car being loose from the very start. Back to Jeannie.
Well, trouble in the 17th pit of Matt Kenseth. The NASCAR officials telling everybody in this crew, it looks like you missed a lug nut. They are debating it as we speak. He may be coming back.
And trouble for Kerry Earnhardt, who overshot his pit stall, knocking one of his crew members to the ground, had to back up and then get his pit service done, and he'll be one of the last cars to leave pit road.
It would be extraordinary if the 17 crew made a mistake, because they just don't make that many mistakes.
That was a fast pit stop. He beat everybody off pit road. There you see him struggling with the left front, trying to put lug nuts on.
And Kenseth, the jack dropped, so Kenseth pulled out. Apparently, it looked like the jack man wasn't aware of the problem on the left front.
Now, this is his Busch crew. This is not the Cup crew. And you saw the NASCAR official holding up one finger. That means a lug nut is missing. But I'm going to tell you who really was good on pit road, and he's going to assume the lead, Kevin Harvick in the 21 group. And the reason, Darrell, he had that very end pit. When they were finished with the pit stop, he only had to move a few feet to that line to determine who beats who off pit road.
Well, the good news for Kenseth is he now is the option of coming back down and topping off with fuel, because he will be at the tail end of the longest line. So maybe his bad luck will turn out to be his good luck.
You've seen it turn out that way before.
There you see him coming back down pit road, 55 miles per hour. No need to get in a big hurry. Right now we have 26 cars on the lead lap. They actually added a little fuel to him right then.
Yep. Kevin Harvick, Stacy Compton, Michael Waltrip. The NASCAR Busch Series on Fox, presented by Yamaha. The NASCAR Busch Series on Fox is presented by Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. Matt Kenseth has ended up in the back of the pack because of a miscue on the pit stop. Now, Jeff Hammond, you're a former jackman. How does the tire changer let the jackman know not to drop that car? Because when he does, the driver's going
back out of the hole as quick as he can. What happened there? Their jackman, if you notice, that front tire changer and the carrier were both in there working on that wheel. And if he had backed off his handle and used his peripheral vision looking back and forward, and I'm talking about look at the front guy, look at the back, look back at the front, he could have recognized that they were in trouble. Because when the tire changer backs out or the tire carrier backs out, that means the stop is going the way it's supposed to. And that one right there was obviously in trouble.
And Mike, you would assume if you're the jackman, you're watching the rear. He gets around the car last. The front guy gets around there. He should be finished. If the back guy finishes and he's watching him, he probably would drop on the rear guy, because the front guy should be finished.
I've been talking to a bunch of jackmen, and they tell me that it's really hard to try to keep an eye on both the front tire changer and the back tire changer, and more than a few of them are doing this on auditory clues. They are listening, and if they think they hear the air gun up front go 5 times, zip, 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 and the back go 5 times, zip, 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 that's it, he's gone.
And what we have to remember, these guys are now wearing helmets because you can't hear as good, you can't see as good. The one thing that this is not a responsibility of is the driver. His job is to go when that jack drops. And you know, Darrell Walsh, if you were talking, this gives Matt Kenseth an opportunity to come back to pit road and top off here with 105 laps to go. That means he'd have to run 52 and 53 laps, and there were some teams in that garage that could run that distance on fuel.
Kenseth, Coy Gibbs, and Hermie Sadler came in with 1 to go to top off the tanks.
Well, they might come back in again because they just waved off the restart.
Fuel mileage becomes a key to race strategy here in California. NASCAR Busch Series Racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha, is brought to you by Prestone. When you want protection inside and out, you want the Prestone family. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. They've just waved the green flag for the restart.
more like a red flag at a bunch of bulls. Man, they have cut them loose down here in the middle of 3 and 4.
A lot of fast cars trying to come from the back after making top off for gas fuel stops on the final lap of caution. Kevin Harvick's our leader. Bobby Labonte's our producer. Stacy Compton in second. Michael Waltrip, Mike Bliss, Todd Bodine. The top 5.
Boy, they're mixing it up down here. And this 3 wide stuff is all right, but if somebody slips up.
7 to clear, take 7 to clear, push 7, go back, drive back.
You know what's happening, Darrell? These guys in the back, they realize how much cars get strung out here after a restart, and those leaders are getting further and further away, and they're having to be a little impatient right now.
You heard a little bit of Artie Kepner direct to cameras. The producer, which is the seat that Bobby Labonte's in, his job is to overview the race. Look at all the coverage. What are we covering? What are we not covering?
12.
Who are we not talking about?
12.
Where do we need to flow the conversation next? You see to his left all those buttons on that McCurdy. That's to talk to everybody. Camera people, the sound people, the video people, and of course to be in our other ear as well.
All those buttons on what?
Put the score in,
That's the brand name of that. That's the thing.
Okay.
That thing with all the buttons.
Okay.
Back in the lead.
Intercom to you. Thanks, Freddie.
Ready, one big box, one big box.
All right, go to camera 2 on the 25 there, Mike.
Ready, 2.
That's Bobby Hamilton Jr., who's in 7th. He is 2.8 seconds off the lead. Right back at Casey Kane, who was 5th at the restart and dropped back 1 spot.
Ready, 20.
There's Kane.
17 car. You keep an eye on him because he's coming.
4, then we have 17. Ready, 4 in the big box. Drop down 4 car. Good.
And it comes out television.
Pan right with the 17.
Indeed, Matt Kenseth has climbed to 13th from 24th on the restart.
Good, we're good.
Battling Brian Vickers, the 19-year-old.
Lead, 7 in the lead, please.
And if there's somebody that has experience doing this, it's Matt Kenseth going from the rear to the front. I mean, he does it a lot with the Winston Cup car. And, you know, I don't think you saw any pandemonium breakout with him or his guys in the pits. They know they have a long way to go.
One big box, go.
They go to a different strategy now. Now they're thinking fuel mileage and get by some of these cars. Get yourself clear of the traffic. Let the race come back to you now.
Ready, 2 to clear, take 2.
Hamilton and Todd Bodine. Bodine has been quick off the restarts, and then that car just seems to fade just a little bit. Or maybe he's just holding back.
No, that's kind of the way this place is.
Here we've got a battle for the lead. Stacy Compton in the 59 car, Kevin Harvick in the 21. The unique thing about this battle, Stacy Compton uses Richard Childress engines. Butch Hilton, crew chief for the 21 car, tossed the Stacy Compton group into a lower gear this morning. And now they just took the lead.
Drive on, buddy, drive on.
I like that.
First time that Compton has led today.
He did finish 3rd here last year. So he's had some good runs here at this racetrack.
Check with Dick Berggren on pit road.
Well, Compton had a bit of help from his pit crew on that last round of pit stops, Mike, in that he came in 4th and went out 2nd. He has done well here. He has finished 3rd in the Busch Series, 3rd in the Truck Series. He has finished 2nd 3 times in Busch. Never won. Maybe today. To Matt.
Dick, Ron Hornaday had to make a second stop. Ricky Byers, NASCAR make you come back for a loose tire?
Yeah, they did. We had a right rear tire when we took it off. It came back pretty hard. It hit the wall and bounced outside the box, and the rule is if it's got to be on the left-hand side of the box before the car leaves. But AC Delco Chevrolet and Ron Hornaday's been driving an awesome race so far. We got a little bit of a setback, but it's a long race. I think we'll be okay.
But by having to come back in on lap 44, they told Ron Hornaday he now makes 2 53-lap segments. He can make it on one more stop to Steve Burns.
Casey Kane also pitted. He's being listed in the 5th position. They took a spring rubber out of the left rear, went up one round on the track bar, and took air out of both left side tires. Crew Chief Wes Ward said, we had no notes from last year. They never completed a single lap with a different driver. This young Casey Kane giving the team a big boost. Jeannie Delasco.
Well, Matt Kenseth just coming on the radio saying, look, we are running faster than the leader. We just cannot make any more mistakes when I come into the pits. And just FYI, guys, it wasn't just one lug nut they had a problem with. It was that left front, and they were missing one from the right rear.
And the NASCAR says when you leave pit road, you have to have 20 lug nuts that are on that wheel and preferably tight. But I'm going to tell you, going back to Casey Kane, the 38 car, running up there in 5th, unlike a lot of cars that we've heard describe the characteristics, he must have been very tight pushing, because that's pretty major changes they made, pulling the rubber out of the left rear, raising the track bar, and dropping the air pressure in the left side tires. That's 3 pretty major changes to free that car up.
It needed some grip. Just didn't sound like the car had much grip in it.
This little kid, I mean, a lot like Brian Vickers, he just gets stronger every week.
Burns.
At the racetrack.
What you got, Burns?
Well, you're talking about the 38 DW, and Larry, you're exactly right. Casey was tight from the center off, and as I mentioned, he's been a big boost to the morale of this race team. Wes Ward, the crew chief, said my confidence was down, the entire team's was down, but hey, you know what? He goes, I'm going to go big. Let's go aggressive. Let's get this kid up front.
And they're doing a good job. And yes, Steve, you and I talked to Wes Ward the other day. The unique thing about it, all the hard times this race team has been through, they have not lost a single person. Now I think everybody's reaping the rewards for staying there.
We're just past 1/3 distance with 26 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick leading Michael Waltrip, Stacy Compton, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and Casey Kane. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
3, 2, 1.
Crunch. Kerry Earnhardt has put us under the 3rd caution this afternoon at lap 57, spinning in turn 4 and backing it into the wall.
Yeah, it just looked like he lost it. Coming up off the corner here, I don't think anybody, no, he just car gets out from under him. Round she goes, and boy, he is lucky, 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 right? Well, a lot of people are lucky right here, because,
Now watch evasive action here. Hermie Sadler gets into the 19, Jet Blunt.
That could have been ugly right there. 19 car did a great job of not getting into the inside pit wall where all the people were.
Just kissed the outside pit wall, but lost a lap getting it turned around and restarted.
Now what I'm seeing a lot of guys come to pit road. Some of them are taking fuel only. Some of them's taking just 2 right side tires. Like it appeared Matt Kenseth, I think he took fuel only, which I think is a good move, because you know you can make it from here, and they've only been out on those tires about 11 laps.
Matt?
Well, the vibration is still on Michael Waltrip's car. Now he thinks he might have a tire going down, so he asked his spotter, Donnie Empling, Fat Boy, to talk to Kevin Harvick's spotter. They relayed the message. Harvick went down to the inside, then on the outside looking at the 99's tires. He reported back. Looks like he's got like a rubber buildup, like a ball on the left rear tire. Now his crew chief, Bobby Kennedy, has a pair of binoculars. He's going to try to look just to make sure that's what it is, and he doesn't have a tire going down in the left rear.
And what I'm seeing is our top 7 cars, they look like they stayed out. They did not come to pit road. Now, Darrell, the thing I'm thinking on that they must feel like they can make it, because I don't know if I would want to have to pit too late in this race for fuel and get way back at the back of the pack.
One question mark might be Casey Kane. His gas mileage would have to be considerably better than the other Fords if he's going to go the distance on one more stop.
One more stop. That's the thing I need to make sure, Doc, that one more stop.
So Casey Kane runs in 4th as we're under the 3rd caution of the day. There's our guest producer, Bobby Labonte. Going to step into, they're going to nerf Artie Kepner out of the director's seat here in a minute.
Hollywood.
NASCAR Busch Series Racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha, is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. By TGI Fridays. Enjoy our sizzling chicken and cheese for just $8.99. By AOL Broadband. Welcome to the worldwide wow. And by Mobil 1, official motor oil of NASCAR. 61 laps complete, cleaning up after the third caution of the day. Kevin Harvick, Michael Waltrip, Stacy Compton, Casey Kane, Mike Bliss. You're looking at some of the 1,800 reserved RV spots here from the Goodyear Blimp. They have a blimp base out here on the West Coast in Carson, California, where some of these great airships are housed. Nice to see the Goodyear Blimp flying over NASCAR tracks for us on Fox once again. Neil Goldberg, producer, Bobby Labonte, director, alongside. He will call the camera shots. Richie Basili will actually push the buttons and make the switches.
Okay, go to 1.
So we get set to go back to green. Next time by.
We're still seeing a lot of cars come to pit road. A lot of them are lap down cars, just topping off the fuel, making sure they can do this race on one more stop. And I'd say it's pretty safe to sure they can do it from here.
25 cars still on the lead lap, a lot of them topping off in these last couple of laps before we go back under green. There's Brian Vickers, who rides in 14th. Steve?
And Brian Vickers just came to pit road. Lance McGrew, tell us about your strategy. You guys didn't take any tires. What did you do?
We're just trying to tighten it up. We've been tight since we've been here. We made some changes this morning. We kind of figured out how to make it a little bit too loose. So we've been kind of struggling to get the handle on it today. We've just been tightening it up all day.
And you know, Steve, those guys came out here and tested about 2 months ago right around the Las Vegas race, and I'm sure the track temperatures were very cool then. The biggest reason they came...
Turn that fan off, get that thing cleared out, give those belts a tug.
There you go. Good time to pull on those belts about a third of the way through this race. But I'm sure that threw them a little curve. They were happy with their tests. A lot cooler track temperatures, just like happy hour yesterday.
Yeah, because he's been really fast just about every place they've been. And back in 14th place right now. They still may have a little something. Get adjusted up here, get a little bit.
17 next.
Get a good run going.
Monitor.
Bobby watching that monitor wall, trying to pick out the cameras. He'll pick to show you this restart.
All right, let's go to 17.
Sounds like he's falling right in the groove down there.
Okay.
Getting set for the restart to begin lap 64.
Green.
Here we go, restart.
Harvick again tries to pull away.
Michael hung with him just a little bit better on that restart, but Kevin has been on his game on restarts today.
Yeah, and Larry, they really helped that car after that first round of pit stops. He's much faster now, and the car looked like it was going to stay more consistent than it did in the get-go.
The 38 coming up.
A lot of 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Casey Kane trying to advance from 4th, and Jamie McMurray coming.
Let's put 2 in the box here. 38 cars charging.
2 in the box.
He's battling Stacy Compton in the 59 car. That's a battle for 3rd place.
Again, Darrell, it's such an interesting racetrack because the bottom car, the car on the left, has the short way around, but the car on the right, on the outside, has a little more RPM, a little more momentum.
Yeah, it's all about momentum. That's exactly what it is. You can just, what we call, float it down in there a little harder when you go in on the high side like that. You're not cranking it to the bottom, causing the car to get bound up. You just kind of freewheel it off in there.
This battle for 3rd place, here's Steve.
And Mike, we just followed up with crew chief Wes Ward and the 38 team of Casey Kane. He says the car feels great. They can make it on one more stop.
And that's the reason I'm sure they didn't come to pit road to top off. No reason to give up that track position.
Right. Thanks for confirming that, Steve. Harvick and Waltrip in Chevys. Casey Kane's car is a Ford. And he's followed by 5 Chevys. Compton, Bliss, Bodine, Rudeman, and Wimmer.
I'll tell you what, that 21 car is checking out. Michael could hang with him earlier and actually, went up there and passed him, but no dice now, baby. He's long gone. That's the kind of car he had when he qualified. That's about how much faster he was than everybody else.
I definitely think they have made the right adjustments on that race car.
Mike Bliss in 5th. He is just off the back of Stacy Compton. And about 3 seconds ahead of Todd Bodine. Or sorry, 0.3 of a second ahead of Todd. Caution is out. Smoke from the 26 of Lance Norrick. That was one of the cars damaged in the lap 2 crash that began this race. Got his Dodge down on the apron, but caution is out.
You know, for the guys that have not pitted, that were a little borderline on making it on one more stop, remember these cautions, they just help that situation. You burn a lot less fuel, and the caution is about a 2-to-1 ratio, so this just helps their cause.
We'll kind of take fuel strategy out of this race at this point, won't it?
We're getting real close to that, real close to that.
Jeff Hammond?
Right now, Mike, one of the things I've kind of been trying to keep an eye on is guys who've been worried or trying to keep up with this fuel situation. They've got another opportunity to come down and go ahead and top that tank off one last time. But I don't think you got to worry about it as far as the Kevin Harvicks and Michael Waltrips are concerned. I believe they're going to go ahead and run their course, take care of running their race as they planned out. This really plays into their scheduling as far as their strategy and all the things they'd like to see happen. They're able to conserve fuel during these caution flags. And one other thing I'd like to add, watching the way things kind of played out, Scott Wimmer started way back in the back and has worked his way very quietly into the top 10. I think partly because of the fact of where he's pitting today, Larry. He's pitted at the first pit at the end of pit road coming off of turn 4. I've watched him come down several times, be able to put 4 tires on it, get going really quick and beat a lot of guys off the pit road. Now he finds himself in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, these guys need to turn their season around. Started back in 28. They have wrecked 6 out of 8 races. See a little bit of trick in there going on with Kevin Harvick to 21, but we see Todd Bodine, 92. A lot of the other cars coming down pit road. Scott Wimmer as well, David Rudiman, Matt Kenseth back on pit road, Ron Hornaday, Jamie McMurray, Coy Gibbs. So a lot of the guys decide to come down pit road. Matt Kenseth did not come. That was Jason Keller in the 57 car.
Dick Berggren.
David Rudiman is in. He's going to take 4 tires. The car is still tight in the middle and a little bit loose coming off. Brian Patty, the crew chief, has assumed the role of tire catcher. He just grabbed the tire that came off the right rear. The right side tires are all done. This is Joe Nemechek's regular pit crew doing the service, and they're good ones. And Rudiman's gone.
Now, Matt Kenseth had that pit miscue earlier, but don't worry about Kenseth. He has climbed since the restart to 7th at the caution. Matt?
And service already complete on Ron Hornaday's Chevrolet. No chassis adjustments, just 4 tires.
Here comes the great white shark of Todd Bodine coming out at 92. Herzog and Reggie Jackson, partners in that car, the Herzog family, and leading the points with that unsponsored car. Ron Hornaday coming out was 14th as they came around to the caution flag, and the caution out for Lance Norrick, smoking to bring out the 4th caution of the day.
Now all these guys that just came to pit road to get that second set of tires, that means they only have 1 set left to change under caution, because NASCAR only gives them 3 sets to change under caution.
Back inside the NASCAR on Fox truck. So Bobby, how's directing? Not quite as...
I'm terrible.
No, you're not. You're doing fine. Hope you're having fun.
Yeah, I think I do better at the other part. It's interesting.
Well, you know what they tell us all the time? Don't quit your day job.
That's right.
We'll be right back.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk while the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. Everything's waiting for you.
We're about an hour east of where most of that was shot as we get set for the restart. Our Emmy award-winning NASCAR on Fox sound crew, audio mixer Fred Aldis.
Let's crank it up.
You're 8.
72 laps complete in the 1-800-PitShop.com 300 at California Speedway. Just coming off the 4th caution of the day. Kevin Harvick has dominated this race. He's led 44 laps. Well out front is Mike Bliss. Moves on Stacy Compton. That's for 4th place. He's trying to take Matt Kenseth with him. Matt Yoakum.
Mike Bliss won the inaugural Truck Series race here back in '97, trying to add more California success to his racing resume. He says the car is loose. It's been loose all day. The track bar adjustment they made on his first stop didn't really help that much. His crew chief, Jimmy Shutt, told me on his next stop, they're looking at making air and wedge adjustment. They would like to stop around lap 96 to 97, so then they can go the distance.
I mean, the thing about that, this next adjustment, it has to be the right adjustment because you only get one shot at it.
That's what I like about having cautions kind of in the middle of the race the way we have. It gives you a chance to change your game plan, if you will. All of a sudden, you can change your strategy and go from maybe just trying to outrun everybody to maybe outsmarting everybody.
For our points leader, Todd Bodine, that 92 car, he was about as wrecked as you can get without wrecking that last time off turn 4.
I've been watching him, and he's trying to wreck because he's been all over the place. He's been diving high, diving low. He's really been dicing through the traffic.
Remember, Darrell, we've seen that car is really good right off of restarts and then seems to settle a bit. So he was trying to get what he could get while he could get it.
It's taken Matt Kenseth several laps since that lug nut problem. There he just drives by Mike Bliss. That was battle for the 4th position, so he's working his way back to the front. And, you know, he don't have as fresh a tires as some of those guys in the back, but he's got that track position right now.
Yeah, and that car's really good. I mean, I think probably next to Harvick, he's got the 2nd best car. And they get on even keel here with the same tires and everything. I think Kenseth's going to prevail.
Winston Cup racing on Fox tomorrow. 500 miles from here at Fontana. Mike Harmon back on track after pit stop, and Randy LaJoie is still in the race, those 17 laps down after that oil line problem.
Here's another bunch of guys in here that are really going at it hot and heavy.
One outside,
the
up
winner
high.
last year, the 10 car there, Scott Riggs. Hadn't heard a lot about him today, but he's up there in 7th place right now.
He's been in the top 10 about all day long.
Speeds at the line. Kenseth 2nd to Harvick.
As far as on the lap time, it's within 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, and of course, Harvick's been leading the race, sitting out there kind of pacing himself, and Matt's been working through traffic to get himself back up there in contention. So he's probably worked this car a good bit harder than maybe Kevin has.
Kenseth is 3.5 seconds off the lead.
You know, another guy a lot like Kevin Harvick, we heard him say how loose he was in the beginning of this race. Brian Vickers in that 5 car, he just went by Scott Riggs, so he's up in the 7th position. So they've made the right adjustments on that car.
Yeah, that car just, I mean, week in and week out, last several weeks particularly, has really been a strong contender. They're doing a good job, he and his crew, and Brian is doing just been really impressive to me. Young man, it's got a lot of skill.
Clear, all clear.
Continuing our Take a Driver to Work for a Day program, Bobby Labonte's now running our robotic cameras, the cameras that are placed low on the wall in areas where you wouldn't want to pick a cameraman. Now, that's the camera he's running, and it's video game style, something Bobby has a good bit of experience with.
Yeah, no, I think he's found his niche right there. I think I like that shot, Bobby. That was a good one.
Well, he's helped develop several racing video games. There's a good bit of experience with those.
Looks very intense. Very focused.
Well, if this was easy, anybody could do it. And it's not. So that's also one of Bobby's cameras as he pans with the crowd.
That's a great shot. I love those speed shots like that when the cars are coming out the corner at you, and like, that's a great shot. Nice camera work. I am really impressed.
And you can see why we don't put a cameraman right there on the wall. Mike Harmon slow in the back straightaway. He had just come off pit road about 5 laps ago, and there's smoke from behind.
Looks like he's going to get below the apron, though, before he puts anything down in the groove. No caution as of yet.
Harmon was 6 laps off the pace.
This racetrack's hard on engines. I mean, you pull a lot of gear here to get up off that second turn over there particularly. A lot of sustained RPM, and it's very hard on the valve train.
know, I'm going to tell you what, a guy that we have to give a call to, he's from here locally, Bishop, California. Stanton Barrett in the 60 car. Qualified 20th. I talked to his crew chief, Kevin Starlin. They were not that happy with that race car, but he has messed around, and he's up there running in 9th. And Jeff Hammond, I think he did a little something extra on his off weekend, the Easter weekend.
Yeah, he's kind of like some of these race car drivers who like to go race as well. In Stanton's case, he's also a stunt man. So last weekend when he had the time off over Easter holidays, he went to New York and is working in the sequel to Spider-Man 2. He actually worked about 4 days straight, 14-hour days, doing stunts for an upcoming movie that's going to be featuring Spider-Man once again. So today, he and Cowboy, his crew chief, Kevin Starlin, made some good changes, I think, during their last practice session, got this car better for Stanton. And Cowboy told me, he said, he's beginning to get up on the wheel. You have to get on him every now and then, but as you can see, he's coming through that corner pretty good. It looks like that 60 car is working good upstairs, and they're having a pretty good run today.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, I noticed him, and I think early on he was being very cautious early on in this season when he got in that car. I think there was some skepticism on a lot of people's part as to whether he could get the job done or not, but his confidence has grown every week. He's seen better and better every week.
But what about the pressure on that kid? That's the car that Greg Biffle won the championship with. That's the car that Mark Martin won boo-koodles of races with. That had to be a lot of pressure on Stanton Barrett.
And he's handled it well. I have been really, really impressed with the job he has done.
Barrett looking for his 3rd top 10 finish of this season. Battling Jason Keller, and that is for 9th place. Kevin Harvick, half a second up on Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, and Stacy Compton. This is Busch Series racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha. The NASCAR Busch Series on Fox, presented by Yamaha, is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. "86 laps complete, and Kevin Harvick's half-second lead has all but disappeared. Michael Waltrip is there.
And so is Matt Kenseth. I mean, he's going to have his hands full. Well, I don't know that he's going to have his hands full, because I think both these guys are going to get right on past him. Matt Kenseth's right here in the back, just right out of the frame there. There he is. Michael's all over the back of Kevin, and here comes Kenseth. So we're going to have some good battle here just very shortly.
I mean, I've been watching the score monitor, Darrell, and probably for the last 6-7 laps, Matt Kenseth has been 0.2 of a lap quicker than those two guys at the front.
He just has a great feel for getting the car set up for the race, and I really like it. You know, it's kind of David Pearson style. That may not mean a lot to a lot of folks, but sets the car up for the long haul, drives it conservatively, but very comfortable.
And I think this is what we even saw at Happy Hour yesterday, the final practice. Kevin Harvick was fast, but Matt Kenseth was fast for a long time.
Yeah, Kevin was so fast, I think they probably were afraid to adjust on the car very much. May have gotten them in trouble.
They definitely are better than they were at the beginning of the race, but they still have some adjustments to make on that car on that final pit stop.
2 Chevys and a Ford. Waltrip, Harvick.
And you see Michael, I mean, he'll go up there and he'll search out that high line. He'll get up on that cushion just about everywhere we go when there's an opportunity to do it. And it usually pays off. I know at Michigan he did it last year and he won there. Atlanta, a lot of places where you can run high, he likes to do that, and it usually pays off.
We go back short tracking next week in Richmond under the lights. So you have 3 bushwhackers up front. Winston Cup drivers who moonlight in the Busch Series, Waltrip, Harvick, and Henseth. In 4th, Casey Kane, first of the Busch Series regulars.
Yeah, and really he's right there with those guys too. I mean, he might actually be closing a little bit. There goes Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth for 2nd.
I think there'll be a little wave here. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.
Casey Kane hanging right with them. Steve Burns is in his pit.
With his crew chief, Wes Warren. Wes, you guys made some aggressive changes on your last stop. What can you do to get Casey up there to the front?
That was about half enough. We're almost there. Start of the run, he was just a tick free through the center. And it's tightened up on him just a little bit here. So, you know, kind of had to pull that spring rubber out, and that took a little bit of time. So, shouldn't have to do that this time. So, it's going to be close. We've got to pit about 97, and it's going to be close, about a lap shy of making it. So, I don't know right now. Tough.
All right, thanks, Wes. Let's go to Jeannie.
Well, no surprise that Matt Kenseth is making this charge. It was just moments ago that his spotter came on the radio and said, hey, let's get in there and mix it up a little bit. Matt saying the car is pretty good, just a little loose on exit.
Hermie Sanders slowed up in the groove in turn 2 and then brought it down to the apron. Also trouble for the 39 of Chris Bingham.
And Darrell, you mentioned it earlier. I mean, this place is so hard on engines, and we're still on the green. There's no cautions. Those guys got out of the groove. I mean, it really takes a toll on the drivetrain, the valve springs, the rocker arms, all those things, components in an engine.
And if you're going to be loose here, getting off the corner is not a bad thing because it keeps the engine nice and free. You just don't want to be loose getting into these corners at, 190 miles an hour. As long as you can drive the car down in there under control, then you can handle it off the corner with the throttle.
Tell you what, speaking of being under control, Shane Mill in that 48 car, he just went by Stacy Compton. He's in the 6th position. This kid's starting to show some maturity. He's 4th in the points. He's finishing races. They're doing what they need to do now with him that he's been in the Busch Series for a year and a half.
Yeah, these guys are young. They have so limited experience, some of them do. And it takes some hard knocks for them to figure out how to run these races.
NASCAR observers looking at a bit of what might be oil up in turn 4. And no, they're saying the track is clear.
I don't see anybody indicating there's any problem anywhere. The only problem I see is that car that's going awfully slow down there in the middle of 3 and 4. I don't know if he's going to make it. Yeah, it's hard to say.
That would be Bingham, who had trouble coming out of 2 and is trying to coast around back to pit road.
And I will guarantee you, Michael Waltrip, Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, all these guys, their crew chiefs are watching this very closely because they're right on top of having to make a green flag stop.
Yeah, they're saying stop, stop, stop. Just stop right there.
It's downhill from here. He's going to make it.
Well, the flagman had the caution in his hand just in case he didn't, but he has made it into the pit lane.
Matt Kenseth keeps nibbling at Michael Waltrip's lead. It's down to half a second.
Matt's car works really, really good right on the bottom of the racetrack. The shortest way around, the fastest way around, and he's taking advantage of it. Michael's up high, riding, kind of rim riding. Matt's down low.
There you see speeds at the line. Casey Kane, 4th place car right now, had the fastest speed that time. He's running that high line, Darrell.
Doesn't surprise me. He likes sprint cars and midgets. That's where he came from. And get up on that cushion, as they say.
Big USAC midget race tonight at Irwindale, California. Kurt Busch is going to go over and run with the USAC crowd.
In the midgets?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
No.
Man, I'd pay to see that.
I know where you can get a ticket.
Here's a battle for 7th. Jason Keller in the 57, Stacy Compton 59. But remember, Jason Keller, he pitted on lap 68. A lot fresher tires than these guys right here. Plus, he can go about 20 laps further on his fuel.
Boy, that could be huge. Everybody has to pit under green. You can go 20 more laps.
For the lead. And that momentum that Michael has in the high side, that kept Kenseth at bay that time.
Yeah, it just takes, when you're running around the bottom, you've got to have the whole racetrack to when you come off the corner to let the car slide out to the wall. Otherwise, you keep it kind of bound up and you lose a little bit of speed as you come up on the straightaway. Now, they could run like that forever.
And they might.
Then they just might, because we saw them earlier kind of play cat and mouse with each other. I'm not sure which one's which.
Well, it's got to be fun, Darrell, when the car's working that well. Run side by side like that.
Well, I think if I was Kenseth, I'd be pretty happy that I was able to have the problems he's had and work my way from the back of the pack into the lead, just like he did right there. That's when it's fun.
Remember how we told you that Todd Bodine's car started off real well on runs and then things didn't go quite so well?
Whoa. Man, he's lucky he didn't get into the side of Ron Hornaday right there. That's what usually happens.
Yes, that could have been real big, especially him being the points leader.
He and Tony Raines have been battling back and forth with Hornaday, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Got a car on pit road here. 38 car,
Casey
yeah.
Kane, lap 97. That's exactly when his crew chief, Wes Ward, said they would be on pit road. This should be his final pit stop. But he needs to stay green, no caution.
Steve.
And Casey Kane comes down to the attention of Wes Ward's crew. Right side tires going on. Ken Davis and Joey Valori will change the tires. Casey Kane. Left side tires going on. Doug Biggs, the jackman, lets it down, and Casey Kane heads back to the racetrack.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer. Change the 4 tires because they had to have 2 complete fuel cans. So the extra tires was almost free.
Chad Blunt was also in, although he is 4 laps back. 24 cars on the lead lap, led by Matt Kenseth's Ford, then the Chevys of Waltrip, Harvick, Vickers, and Meal. Dick Berggren.
Stacey Compton has dropped back to the 9th position right now, Mike, and they are very worried about fuel in this car. The goal had been to go to about lap 100, and we are almost there. Compton may well have to pit under green.
And he would be a lot like Casey Kane. You know, if he can go to lap 100, that means that would be his last stop. But you need it to run for about 15 or 20 laps, definitely without a caution.
Yeah, we got to cycle through all these stops, or, man, if you stop now, you're going to be in big trouble. If a caution should come out.
42.28.
And that's about a 10.5 of a second behind Matt Kenseth's lap time for Brian Vickers.
Now Vickers is up to 4th place and having a pretty decent run again today.
Didn't show a lot the first half of this race. Hung around the 15th to 20th place range, but now he's come on and he's brought Shane Meal with him.
Well, those middle, here comes the 21 car on
Kevin
pit
Harvick on pit road. This should be his final stop.
Those caution flags in the middle of the race right there were very beneficial.
Well, 55 miles an hour doesn't seem very fast.
Not when these other cars are out there running about 175 miles per hour. This is a long pit road.
And at the end of it stands Steve Burns.
And Kevin Harvick describing his race car as just still a little bit too free, a little bit too loose. They go to the right side tires. Steve Ellis and Jake Lynn will change them. They do make a track bar adjustment. There's debris on the backstretch.
No, that's just a
no
piece
caution
of
yet.
rubber
DW, they'll
tape.
change the left side tires. 4 tires for Kevin Harvick and a track bar adjustment. A little bit of a lengthy stop on the left rear. Let's go to Matt.
In straight out.
Hey, Michael Waltrip's team, you can hear Bobby Kennedy calling him into his pit. Do not look for any adjustments on this stop. They're just going to give him 4 tires and fuel. Michael Waltrip looking for his season's first win here in the NASCAR Busch Series. Good stop, Rodney Fetters, Steve Parks, Winston Cup Jackman. 1.5, almost 2 pumps to get the left side up. He drops it. Michael Waltrip's down and away. Meanwhile, the 20 car of Mike Bliss, 17.1 for Waltrip. Listen, you can see the wedge adjustment on the left side. He was a little loose on entry, okay in the center, but big time loose up off the corner. He tried several different lines to try to make his race car react better. It did not work. Service complete for Bliss.
Jeff Streeter also in and out of the pits.
Compton on pit road.
Stacey Compton coming in, and so is Bobby Hamilton Jr. Dick Berggren.
Well, Compton went a little bit further than he anticipated because his crew chief, Steve Plattenberger, was hopeful that there would be a caution flag as a result of the debris on the backstretch. They didn't get it. Compton a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. They made a wedge adjustment on the car already. This will be a 4-tire change, and it will be the last pit stop of the day if things go according to plan for Stacey Compton. He's had a good race car all day, said he's got more power than he's had all year long for this event.
Kenseth, your leader, Vickers, Meal, Jason Keller, Stanton Barrett moves up into the top 5.
And what the officials and everybody has to be aware of is that, you know, if somebody needs a caution, they got to be sure they don't happen to just lose a water bottle or something like that accidentally.
Yeah, it's funny how the glue they use on that roll bar padding sometimes just doesn't hold all race long.
Errant pieces seem to fly out of the car sometimes.
And you know, Matt Kenseth, you know, he can run, by my calculations, probably about 8 to 10 more laps. What he would hope for right here is the fact that a caution would come out, and that would in particular burn his toughest competitors, Kevin Harvick and Mike Waltrip. But right now, Jeff Hammond, even though tires don't mean a lot here, he's still giving up about a 1/2 to 3/4 of a second a lap to those guys with 4 fresh tires.
He is right now, Larry, but I think what he's trying to do is try to figure out, do I come down and put on the 4 tires and go for that? Because he's not going to need 2 full cans to get the rest of the way in. Almost 2 cans, but do I get 2 tires and let that gas man run with me and try to pick up some more ground coming off the pit road? So they've kind of put themselves in the opportunity of taking advantage of stretching it out early, stretching it on out further as we go further in this race.
And yeah, we're hearing that he can go to lap 112, which is 7 laps away. I think Robbie Reiser has put it in Matt Kenseth's hand and said, when that car goes away, you come to pit road, we'll make that final stop.
"41 laps to go in Fontana. We want to thank Bobby Labonte for participating in our Fox Take a Driver to Work program today. I think he found his niche operating the RoboCam.
Yeah, he did good on that. I like some of the shots he gave us.
Here's a shot. It's Matt Kenseth headed for pit road. The leader is in for his final stop. Jeannie?
Well, Winston Cup crew chief, Robbie Reiser, Matt's Cup crew chief, was hanging out in the pit here for a while, but he's left it in the capable hands of Charles Barraclough, and they've made the decision, 4 tires and fuel. The car is a little loose, but Matt's saying, I think it's going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Jeannie, the thing about it, I think the reason most of these cars are taking 4 tires, as quick as these pit crews are, you have to dump almost both cans of fuel in the car, so you might as well go ahead and get those 4 tires. And Brian Vickers in the 5 car, who had moved up into the 3rd position, he's on pit road for his final stop, Steve Byrne.
Larry Mack, his crew chief, Lance McGrew, telling his 19-year-old driver, nice and smooth when you get in here. Hit your mark, nice and smooth. They're going to take 4 tires. They made an air pressure adjustment. The car is on the loose side. Matt Ashbrenner changing the front tires. Ryan Young on the back. Jackman Craig Smokestack comes around the left side, slams the jack underneath. Left side tires going on. Only chassis adjustment is air pressure. Brian Vickers away.
I mean, definitely that final stop, you don't want any mistakes by your driver as far as speeding on pit road, and you can't stand a mistake like Matt Kenseth's group had with those lug nuts.
And I like the way the tire changer, he was finished. He puts his hand in the air, I'm finished, let's go. And that's a good signal for the jack guy.
Shane Meal becomes the 5th different driver to lead today. And it's the first time that he has led a Busch Series race this season. This is Busch Series Racing on Fox, presented by Yamaha. California Speedway from the newest Goodyear blimp, Spirit of America.
Oh, trouble down here in turn 3, guys. I think that's a 60 car.
Stanton Barrett against the wall.
So far, he hadn't hit anything.
Caution is out, though. Caution is out.
Come on to the line, hustle, get her going, bud.
This is really going to hurt people like Brian Vickers and Mike Bliss. These are guys trying to get back on the lead lap.
He drove right down in front of all those oncoming cars, and I don't know how they missed him.
Just come on to the strike. We didn't hit anything. We just got touched there and spun. Come on, come on, come on.
Boy, Scott Wimmer and Coy Gibbs just about was to go a lap down.
Now, who had not yet pitted? Fellows like Shane Meal, Jason Keller, Tony Raines, Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday, and others had not yet pitted. Each year, the Goodyear blimp visits over 100 communities and participates in dozens of telecasts of major sporting events. Glad to have them with us today. Here's what happened.
Boy, now how that 59 car kept from spinning out, I'll never know.
He should have been the one that spun out.
He should have been the one that spun, yeah. And I think what happened is Stanton realized he was going to get into him, started trying to get off of him, and spun his own self out. And as per usual, this caution changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, this caution, we talked about who it hurt. You know, Brian Vickers, Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Stacy Compton in the 59 car. People that it really helped is those guys that probably within about 5 laps of coming to pit road. This is where he about got in big trouble right here. Yeah, you see Scott Wimmer had to go all the way on the apron in the 23.
When he came back down the racetrack there, those cars were all coming at a high rate of speed. And now he's tearing, he blew all the tires out. The car wasn't damaged. The flat tires are tearing the car all to pieces.
And this was a brand new race car here this week.
So he did a great job of keeping it off the wall.
Now the drivers who ended up in pretty good shape on this were Michael Waltrip, Casey Kane, and Matt Kenseth, because even though they had made their pit stops, they had done so without losing a lap.
Yeah, they were just ahead of the 48 car. Brian Vickers was almost beat the 48 car back to the line, but not quite. They're holding him down here so the pace car can catch back up with him, Dick.
Yeah, Shane Meal's crew absolutely erupted when that yellow flag came out. They had been hoping that they were going to get a caution. Indeed, Shane had been on the radio talking about debris on the racetrack. This is going to be a 4-tire change, no doubt, to Matt.
Back on lap 68, it was gas only for Jason Keller, so he gets a fresh set of tires. No chassis adjustment they are going to make. An air pressure adjustment. The car was a little free, but yet tight up off the corner to Steve.
Well, Matt, they need to tighten Todd Bodine's car up. This was a good break for them. They're a round and a half in the left. 4 tires for Todd Bodine. This is a good break for them.
And what this is going to do, and I'm pretty sure this is going to put Matt Kenseth, I think, as the leader of this race. So what that will do for those guys that pitted that were lapped down, like Brian Vickers, Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Stacy Compton, there you see Matt Kenseth should be the leader with Michael Walter right behind him. It'll put those guys on the tail end of the lead lap where they can get out there and hopefully catch a caution.
But here's the good news for those guys that pitted under the green. They got another set of tires left.
That's right. Those tires they changed under green don't count against their limitation.
So, once again, maybe some bad luck will be your good luck.
You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on Fox, presented by Yamaha.
Welcome back to the California Speedway. A quick recap here on lap 3. Troy Klein spins out, creating the first caution. A shaky start to this race on lap 16. You see a lead change here. Harvick bobbles. Waltrip takes over. LaJoie with an oil problem. Two-time Busch champion winner here. And then a pit stop here cost Matt Kenseth. The lug nut was missing. Had to come back on lap 58. Another caution. Harry Earnhardt in the 12th car, and then some problems in the pits, Jeff Hammond.
You see right there, Kerry Earnhardt bouncing off the wall, but because of that right there, the 54 car and the 19 car, Chad Blunt, tried to come down pit road. They got together. Chad went around. Here we see the 17 car. Matt Kenseth working the low side right there, while Michael Waltrip goes to the high side, but Kenseth beats him for the lead.
Kenseth, the 2-time winner here, in time for our Old Spice lap leaders. And the lap leaders of today's race brought to you by Old Spice High Endurance. And so far, Kevin Harvick, who started on the pole, has endured leading the most, followed by Michael Waltrip. A lot of green flag racing. What are you smiling about?
I'm just thinking you got a lot of endurance, baby.
Yes, well, you need endurance on days like this. Let's talk a little bit about Kenseth and Waltrip. And you got a guy, Casey Kane, one of the younger guys who came in battling the spot for 10th in points with Brian Vickers, another young driver. But those are the top guys right now.
They seem to be the class of the field right now. Matt Kenseth seems like he's got the bottom group figured out, while Michael Waltrip's content to ride around up there on the top, as well as Casey Kane. And so those guys can kind of work together. Maybe they can kind of push one another a little bit like Talladega, make that top side work, and make Matt Kenseth have to work a lot harder if he wants to win this race today.
And what has happened to Harvick? We'll keep an eye on that down the stretch. Let's go back upstairs for the restart.
You know, one thing, looking at Brian Vickers, I think back to Texas. Yes. And, you know, he was a car that was on the tail end of the lead lap was in front of him. And on the restart, the car had a problem, and of course, he ended up with a problem. Now he finds himself in the same situation. He's the car on the tail end of the lead lap. And I know at Texas, he probably wishes that guy had gotten out of his way, but now he knows why he didn't get out of his way.
You know, Darryl, you mentioned those guys that pitted under green had one more set of tires they could use under caution. I'm a little surprised that Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Stacy Compton, they gave up that track position in front of leader Matt Kenseth, came to pit road, went back a lap down, but they do have fresh tires. They only had about 15 laps. Brian Vickers in the 5, he's the only one elected to stay out. His hope is a quick caution. Get him back on that lead lap.
And Mike, you know, I've always said in this sport, what goes around comes around.
So the 5 of Brian Vickers is on the tail end of the lead lap. Right behind him, you see the leader, Matt Kenseth, as the 1-800-PitShop.com 300 is set to go back to green. When they come around, they'll have 28 laps to go.
This be a shootout. A little 20-lap shootout. Well, not even 20 now. 18-lap shootout.
Green.
Johnny Sauter in the 43 car right to the inside of Brian Vickers. He's actually 2 laps down on the inside line.
$18 cars now on the lead lap, counting Vickers, who is just in front of the leader.
Boy, they are stacked up 3 and 4 wide over there in turn 2. Guys trying to stay on the lead lap. Guys trying to get their lap back.
And Casey Kane on the outside trying to win this race.
Got a great run down the back straightaway there.
That black and red 38.
And he's been working really, really well on the outside. I watched him all through those runs there.
Look at him, Darryl. He's all the way up against the wall making a run on these guys.
And he's got the momentum, and he's coming off that corner. He's going to be alongside of Michael and past Michael with his sights set on Matt Kenseth.
I mean, he was as high as I've seen anybody 0-3 and 4 that time.
He's been doing some rim riding, and that's what he likes. I think he's comfortable up there. Car really is driving well, working good for him.
Riding with Ron Hornaday in fourth. That's Waltrip just ahead.
It's a fine line when you get up that high, though. Ooh, just carry it in there a little too high, get that loosed up on those right side tires, and you'll be in big trouble.
Now the yellow car, last year's winner, Scott Riggs, he is one lap down, but trying to get that back.
Turn 3 and 4 is where the 38 car really is fast. He gets through this end of the speedway better than he does 1 and 2.
I think you can get by with running a little higher down there because the turn off the corner is not so abrupt as it is off turn 2.
Exactly.
Matt Kenseth goes by Brian Vickers, puts him back a lap down. And he has put some distance on second place Casey Kane because he's back there battling Scott Riggs, the 10 car.
Yeah. Riggs now pulls to the inside and now slips back up into the draft.
Ron Hornaday in that 2 car. Now he's on the lead lap. He's up there in 4th place behind Michael Waltrip in the 99.
Brian Vickers is doing a really good job of staying out in front of these guys. Oh, no, that's the leader, Kenseth. I'm sorry. 2 blue cars up there.
Now Casey Kane has to try and get past the 2 lapped cars, while in his mirror this is unfolding between Hornaday, Waltrip, Keller, and Meal. There are the 2 lap cars getting all but side by side, and Kane, the second place car, watching leader Matt Kenseth disappear.
And you know, Brian Vickers and Scott Riggs, I mean, they're doing what they have to do. I mean, they're racing for position. Plus, should we get a caution, they want to stay in touch with that leader to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, there'll be a point here, though, when they need to yield. You know, when it gets obvious that they can't get to the leader, they couldn't get a lap back if the caution came out. They need to give those guys racing for the position a little more room, a little more courtesy.
It's getting crowded right behind them. Kane way up high, Waltrip underneath, and Hornaday on the bottom. All 4 second place.
I mean, we've seen this so many times, Darrell. This is a 7th trip here, and look at Michael Waltrip, a little pump drafting on Casey Kane down the backstretch. But we finally have 2-3 grooves of racing at this racetrack.
It's starting now to look like it races like Michigan.
Yeah, it does, and that's exactly what this track feels like. It's a very, very similar feel to what Michigan has. The thing that helps this racetrack is having the Winston West race where they use a little bit more of the track. Every time there's a race on this track, while we're here particularly, widens the groove out.
Well, Casey Kane went real high down in 1 and 2 that time. Michael Waltrip pulled right up to him, but Casey gets such a run on the high side off the corner. Keeps those RPMs, that momentum up we talked about earlier.
Yeah, where he's really going to shine is down here on this end of the speedway. He gets into turn 3, and just as he gets in there, he really accelerates hard and puts a lot of space between he and the car behind him.
Well, now he's out in clean air, though he's got Michael Waltrip to deal with.
And all 3 of those cars behind him, including Mike Bliss, we talked about earlier in the 20 car, they are a lap down.
Casey Kane's lap times, though, about 2 to 3 tenths slower than leader Matt Kenseth. Of course, Kane is in traffic and now slips to 3rd. Kenseth's out there in very clean air.
He just can't get off the turn 2 over there with the kind of speed he gets off turn 4. Kane loses a lot of ground off of that turn. Now watch him here. He really makes it up on this end.
Now, Darrell, we keep talking about how he's able to come off the turn 4 with so much power and really be aggressive with the throttle. We got to remember, you got 14-degree corners, but you've also got on this front straightaway an 11-degree bank, while on the back straightaway, it drops down to 3 degrees. So you're not able to come off that number turn 2 as aggressively because of the way the track transitions to the back straightaway.
Yeah, you just pick up a little more push off of turn 2 over there because of the lack of banking.
As you well know, banking is a driver's best friend, really.
When you're running about 190 mile an hour, it is.
Matt Kenseth, you see his 1.8 second lead over Michael Waltrip and Casey Kane. 17 laps to go. Matt Kenseth's lead is down to a 1.5 seconds. Michael Waltrip's last lap was almost 4 tenths quicker than Kenseth. This time around, Michael is almost 2 tenths quicker. So he's just gradually eating into Kenseth's lead. Let's go back to 9th place, Tony Raines. having a good day. Battled on and off with Todd Bodine and Scott Riggs for quite a while in this race. David Green right with him. And Jamie McMurray, Ashton Lewis, David Rudiman, all in one pack. That's 9th through 13th. Here comes Green.
Hey, David Green, he's having a good points kind of a day. Just been right there in the top 10 and doing the things he needs to do to win this Busch Championship.
And driving like a veteran. I mean, don't hear much about David. Didn't hear much about him at Nashville a couple weeks ago when he won. All of a sudden, there he was. Last out, pounces on the leader, wins the race. Today, here he is. He's worked himself into the top 10. He's 9th now.
Of course, comes in here 3rd in points. So this will be a good day for him. Can he cash in on it with 15 laps to go?
This pack has about 2.5 seconds on Coy Gibbs, Scott Wimmers, and Stedman Marlin. Kevin Harvick there with Jason Keller. 6th, 7th place, back and forth.
You know, Jason Keller, he's really not had that good of a car, but we heard Matt Yoakum talk about when he came in on lap 68, topped off. That's what kept him on the lead lap, that strategy right there. That way he didn't have to make that green flag stop.
And remember, we talked about that in the opening. That pit strategy was going to be the key to somebody's good day here, and I think that's part of it. Matt.
$14 to go. There's our point leader, Todd Bodine, and that unsponsored number 92. And as we've documented throughout the day, that car is really good on restarts. It then seems to fade just a bit. Harvick just went past Bodine for 7th place.
You know, at Nashville last 2 weeks ago, Todd Bodine reached the $5 million mark in earnings in the Busch Series. It's pretty good when you think about Busch racing.
I tell you, he's had his hands full with that car today, though. I think the car's just real loose, and every time he gets down under somebody, it almost turns that car around. He's been sideways a number of times. He's done a pretty darn good job of hanging on to it.
You know, you're talking a while ago, Mike, about Michael Waltrip running quicker than Matt Kenseth. All of a sudden now the last couple laps, Matt has stepped it up, and he's been about a 10th or 2 quicker than Michael.
And if he makes it to victory lane, he will move up a notch in the all-time win list, tying DW at a lucky 13.
Oh, really? Yeah. How about that?
Kenseth's last win in the Busch Series last March at Bristol, Tennessee. Last super speedway win, October 2000 in Charlotte Lowe's Motor Speedway. Now, Shane Meal was leading at the last caution, made his stop, and now he's the 4th place car. Nick Berggren.
Yeah, and he's picked up a bunch of spots, Mike, since he came in and pitted. Shane Meal is doing a great job out there, driving as if his whole career may well depend on this race, because indeed it may. It wasn't until Monday that this team found out that they were going to be able to come here. There is a sponsor on the car. It is not, however, enough to keep this team going. Team owner George Debenhart has said he will take the team to Richmond, and that's going to be it unless they come up with some more. We have a potential caution coming out.
Yeah, Tony Raines, who was up in the top 10, has trouble with the right front. He's going to try to limp it around on the apron.
Boy, and those tires, when they come apart, they just rip the sheet metal right off the car.
Caution is out. Caution is out. That's going to come with about 10, 11 laps to go.
Raines is the 17th and final car on the lead lap. See if anybody can get a lap back from Matt Kenseth as they come around. Don't think so.
Nobody was really in touch. He had kind of in another time zone.
Neither Brian Vickers nor Scott Riggs were anywhere close enough. So we're under caution for the 6th time.
Now, if there wasn't so many cars on the lead lap and I had that set of tires in the pits, I'd come down and get them.
You know the biggest word you just used in racing? If. You have no tires left, DW.
Did you use all my tires?
All 3 sets.
What about those you put on under green?
I don't want to put scuffs back on you. We can. The most of us now, the only one guy that should have a set of tires would be Brian Vickers in the 5 car, but he's a lap down. Because remember, those guys came back to pit road under caution and changed tires. There may be a team out there, but all of the leaders have used their 3 sets.
But we're inside 10 laps to go when we get the restart. So even if you're a lap down, you don't want to come to pit road because it's a single file restart.
Single file restart. Yes.
Yeah. And 17 cars on the lead lap. You don't want to restart 17, 10 laps to go.
So
basically, nobody's coming.
Well, I can handle it. Don't worry. I'd like to be sitting in that 17 car right now.
Puts Casey Kane back in the equation too, though. Good race car. You don't have to fight those lap cars now like you did a while ago.
Tony Raines was a top 10 car until this happened way up at the top of your screen.
Oh, my goodness. I say he got hooked.
That was a hard lick.
It was.
Not sure if it was Rudeman or Lewis that made contact with Tony Raines.
Yeah, he got hooked and turned into the fence back there.
And pit road's open. Green flag waving to indicate pit road open, but as we kind of figured, we don't see anyone coming to pit road. It's a quickie yellow, but basically what that means is anyone can come to pit road. You don't have to just be on the lead lap to come to pit road.
Matt Kenseth the leader, Michael Waltrip second, Casey Kane is third. Steve.
And crew chief Wes Ford had been telling Casey to try to search around the racetrack, find a little bit different line, but just as DW had said a while ago, Casey reported that his car is having trouble getting off turn 2.
Mike Wallace will pit, so will Stanton Barrett. Wallace is on the tail end of the lead lap, so that's not a bad move for him.
It looks like all they did was put fuel in that car and maybe make a chassis adjustments. No tires.
Barrett's another story. The crew was not ready for him, and now they're going to jack up the left side of his Ford.
Yeah, it's a shame. He was having a good run, got it up in the top 10, spun out over there, no damage, didn't hit the wall, but then when he come around, had the tires go down on him, and the tires tore the body off the car.
And he's just trying to get to the finish. He is 34th. He cannot lose another place before the end of this race, and might gain 1 or 2. There's only 7 cars in the garage. Hermie Sadler, Chris Bingham, Mike Harmon, Kerry Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd, Jason Schuler, and Joe Nemechek. They'll be joined by Tony Raines, it appears.
Of course, you see all these cars down the backstretch, weaving back and forth, trying to keep those tires clean, because if you get some rubber built up on them, and trust me, you will, as hot as they are, you can feel like you have a flat tire or spin those tires on this restart, and that's something you don't want to do.
Well, Matt, does Michael Waltrip have anything for Matt Kenseth?
Well, let's talk to crew chief Bobby Kennedy. You just asked your driver, does he have anything left, and what did he tell you?
He told me no, and I was afraid he was going to say that. Said he's giving it all he's got right now, but we're monitoring the 17 car, and he's saying the same thing. He seems to be a little worried about us. That's kind of funny. We're worried about him, so hopefully we got him intimidated a little bit, and we can take advantage of it here at the end.
Now, this is setting up to be quite a shootout here at the finish.
Yeah, I just talked to the official over here and told him to get the rollbacks cranked up because we might need them.
And those are the rollback flatbed wrecker trucks that take them off the track when they can't go by themselves. Casey Kane is on track for his best finish of the season. He was 8th at Daytona, 8th at Darlington, and he is running 3rd here with 8 laps to go.
You know, Bobby Kennedy, he was fun to work with, Larry, over there at Martinsville on the truck. He's a sharp guy, and he and Michael have a really good relationship, and they get great results out of this Busch car.
They are competitive every day. And talk about being competitive. Ron Hornaday Jr., he's sitting up there in the 5th position, 2nd in the points. He's only had 1 top 5 finish, but he's completed all but 2 laps. But this is definitely one of the best runs he's had this year.
All right, Jeannie is in the leader's pit.
With the crew chief who's saying I should just say Smith, it is Cully is the nickname, Bearcloth. We're talking about the race to the finish here. I guess someone just came on the radio and asked Matt, have you been to a lot of dash races? You guys ready?
Yeah, I hope so. We did not want that yellow to come out, but got Michael behind us. It's going to be a nail biter. I'm already trimming my nails right here.
He really is. All right, we'll let you get back to the manicure. I'm next.
Only in California.
Everybody has a different way of kind of handling the pressure.
All right, there's Kenseth, Waltrip, Casey Kane weaving back and forth. The yellow car is Shane Meal, Ron Hornaday, Jason Keller, Kevin Harvick, who started up front, point leader Todd Bodine, David Green, Jamie McMurray. The rest of the lead lap cars are Lewis, Rudeman, Wimmer, Gibbs, Marlin, and Wallace.
How about old Stedman Marlin? Been hanging out on the lead lap all day. Looks like he's going to come out of here with a good finish today, up there in 15th there in the 30 car. Chad Blunt's teammate.
We're all ready for the restart, including that cameraman. Didn't recognize him.
Single file restart. These guys will not have to deal with a lead lap with lap cars because we're within that 10 lap window at the end of the race.
I saw everything in that shot but that monkey that we saw in the beginning of the show.
The rally monkey.
Green.
7 to go. Everybody gets away clean on the restart.
And Ron Hornaday is bump drafting all the way down the front stretch. Jason Keller moved to the inside, and Hornaday shot back up to the high side.
Boy, Hornaday, he didn't know where to go, and he's losing a lot of space here.
One on the low side, one on the high side.
Well, Hornaday, I don't think was happy with Shane Meal, who tried to snooker him on the restart and get away. Didn't quite work. The leaders got away instead.
But boy, Shane Meal got to run off turn 2. He's pulled up beside Casey Kane. That's a battle for third.
There's Harvick right in there, too, so this is going to get exciting.
You're not here to make friends, after all, right?
Well, no, this is what it's all about. You come down to the end of the day, it's time to show them what you got. Take off the gloves.
6 laps to go this time.
Boy, Shane Meal is giving Casey Kane fits for third place.
Look at Harvick. Boy, he got to run down into turn 1. Let's see if his car stick down there.
Yeah, he just drove it down in there and just turned it to the bottom, and they're going to come off there 3 wide. They're going to start off of there 3 wide, I should say. That looks like they're going to get.
They're still 3 wide.
Let's see what happens as he drives it off into turn 3. If he does the same thing he did in turn 1, looks like he did, and it's going to stick.
But this is where Casey Kane has been good on the outside of the racetrack, getting back to the throttle early. But it looks like Harvick's going to slide up in front of him. Kane got a little too high that time.
Too high, all the way against the wall.
Yeah, Shane Meal got fast by him on the low side.
I'll tell you one thing, I don't afford to go down that straightaway.
Haven't seen much of Kevin Harvick over the last 40 laps, but that car has come alive on this final restart.
You know, we knew all day he's good for the short run. You know, for the short haul, he could go, and that's exactly tailor-made for him.
Yeah, he cooled those tires off, and again, this was just a 6, 7, 8 lap run.
Same for Todd Bodine, who's now up to 6th place. That white car right behind Shane Meal. Good on short runs.
Well, he got a good run through the middle of 3 and 4 pull right up underneath Shane Meal coming off turn 4, but he's going to have to fall back in behind him. 4 laps to go this time.
Shane Meal and Todd Bodine, that's going to be where some sparks may fly.
Jamie McMurray works the high side, 3 wide into the corner. Here is Bodine underneath Meal.
He hadn't been good down on the bottom all day long. He's been getting loose right there, and several times he's almost lost it off that turn when he get down like that. Todd.
Not that time.
Looks like he made it stick.
Dick Berggren.
I'm in Shane Meal's pit, and I'm going to tell you what, there is some excitement down here, Mike. The crew is cheering Shane on. They are telling him on the radio, don't pay any attention to who's behind you. Look ahead of you. Shane with his hands full out there doing a great job this afternoon.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Dick Berggren, he better look, because Jamie McMurray in that one car, he is all over the back of Shane Meal and up the back of Todd Bodine.
And they touched at the line. Meal and Bodine got together just a little bit at the line.
And there you see Todd just struggles through the middle at 1 and 2 down here, coming off at 2. That's where he loses some time. Meal gets around on the outside, and here comes McMurray. They're closing up on him and down the back straightaway.
Kenseth way out front. Michael Waltrip all alone. Kevin Harvick trying to close. Those are the top 3. Casey Kane is 4th, and then this 5th place battle on the right of your screen, Meal, Bodine, McMurray.
2 laps to go this time.
And Jason Keller's looming right here behind these guys, too. He's not out of this thing, and David Green's coming along. Here comes Ron Hornaday. And Ashton Lewis Jr. All those guys are right there battling for a position.
This would be another good run 2 weeks in a row, 2 races in a row for Ashton Lewis Jr. after so much bad luck at the beginning of the season.
Oh, man, the 48 got up too high that time, Larry, and the 92 got by him.
He lost his momentum, but he went down the block. Jamie McMurray, now Jamie's going to go to the high side.
Meal had to get out of the throttle down there. Now, McMurray's been real good again on the outside here, so I think he'll clear Meal here.
It's going to be white flag for Matt Kenseth as he comes around. He had 9/10 of a second on Michael Waltrip last time by. Margin stays about the same.
I do not want to go into turn 1 on the last lap with somebody underneath me.
But that's what McMurray has to do.
And look at Jason Keller in the 57 car. He's up there trying to get this position on the white flag lap.
5 cars in that battle.
Boy, Meal got back in the gas hard that time. I think he's going to... No, he didn't quite clear McMurray, and here comes help from behind.
Jason Keller in the 57. They're both going to clear Shane Meal. Shane Meal will go to the bottom of the racetrack. Remember, this is all a battle for 6th position.
Matt Kenseth is going to be the 7th driver to win a Busch race in 2003. Then it's Waltrip, then it's Harvick, and here they come. Kane, Bodine, McMurray, Keller, Ann Meal, and David Green.
And Ron Hornaday wraps out the top 10, finishing in 10th position. David Rudeman in the 87 car finishes 11th.
I'm pretty impressed with Shane Meal. Now, he had cars all around him, all over him, and I've seen a situation like that where he just couldn't handle it. Today, he handled it very well, I thought. I know he lost some spots, but he didn't do anything dumb. He just drove a smart race.
The biggest thing I think he's learned, Darrell, if your car will only run 5th, you have to run 5th. If it'll only run 10th, you have to run 10th.
Matt Kenseth has won the 1-800-PitShop.com 300. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on Fox. Presented by Yamaha. Matt Kenseth has picked up his 3rd win at California and his 5th top 3 finish in 6 races. It's his 13th career Busch Series win, coming in his 136th start. And his first win of the season. Got that bottle of Gatorade clutched in his hand. And climbs up to the windowsill. Matt Yoakum's with him.
Well, a second at Daytona, close so many times, Matt, you finally break through this year.
Yeah, it was great, except for this NASCAR official right here yelling at me for taking Powerade off the roof because we're a Gatorade driver. Everything's been good. Don't want to dent the roof. You know, they get us when we're too low. So this Lee Ford was a great car today. Kipley engine ran great, and my crew did a great job. I'm just really happy to be here.
Concerned at all about the 99 of Michael Waltrip on that last restart?
Well, as I was concerned, especially in the restart, Michael's car worked really well up high, and our car worked really well down low. So I was afraid of him getting up high. And when we got side by side, it was a good race. So, you know, luckily we had enough power under the hood, and the car was running good enough to get away.
13th career win. You tied Darrell Waltrip on the win list.
Oh, that's pretty cool. We had a real fast car. It was just, it was fun. You know, we had a little miscue on the pit stop and got behind, and actually made the race fun. We got to pass a lot of cars. So, just real proud to be part of this. This is Robbie and John Reiser and their family's car, and been driving this car since '97. And it's always a good time.
Well, his 13th career win, 1999, 2000, and now 2003, a winner here in Fontana. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, a top 5 finish for Casey Kane, your best finish of the season. Tell us about your day.
It was good. We got a good start of the race, and you know, we worked on the car. My team does a great job. They always you know, seem to help the car a little bit, and you know, they helped at every pit stop, got us better and better. And I thought we'd run a little better at the end there once it went green, but I got racing with Shane a little bit, and you know, he wanted 4th or 3rd wherever we were at that time, and just about as I did. So kind of cut us back a little bit, but it was a good day for us. I just want to thank Great Clips, Deca Batteries, Ford Racing, everybody that helps us out. It was fun.
Thanks, Casey. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Kevin Harvick has had quite a year. In 5 starts in this series, he's got a 1st, a 2nd, 2 thirds, and a 10th. One of those thirds today. What was it like out there?
It was a pretty good day for us. You know, we thought we had a really good race car coming in. I think we just had a little too much rebound in our front shocks, and car would just kind of snap loose, and I couldn't stay to the throttle like I needed to. And then we tightened it up there on that last stop and trying to put ourselves in contention to win, but got back there in traffic and just got a little too tied up off and didn't fix the loose. So I think we learned a little bit of something for tomorrow and know what we need to change in our shock package.
Nice job. Ginny Zelasco.
No better way to celebrate a win than with your car owner, but I have to ask you, with the start, did you think that you had just enough left to get past Matt?
I did, but you know, when you're leading with a second or so advantage, you're not pushing your car as hard as you can, and when we line back up, I'm glad I made Matt work for it at least. We just he had us just a little bit. I'm proud of the Aaron's team. All the boys on this Aaron's Dream Machine just did a great job. Had to tip my cap to them at Martinsville last week with DW. D put the pressure on me running so well up there in the truck, and the boys are used to having fun, and so I wanted Bobby Kennedy and all these boys to have fun today. We almost had it go our way. Matt was just a little bit better. It's pretty cool when the best car wins and the next best car finish second. I'll just drink my Coke and be happy.
There you go. And do you want to thank your owner and let everybody know who this is?
That's my owner, and I'm real proud that we're such good partners, because even when I screw up, she still loves me.
I think it has something to do with the wedding band. I'm not sure. Love, honor, respect, and win or lose. I think that's part of it as well. Guys?
Thanks, Jeannie. Let's have a look at the results of today's race with Matt Kenseth, the winner. Now, how about tomorrow? What Matt Kenseth and Michael can put in the bank for tomorrow after 300 miles today.
Plus Harvick. I mean, those top 3 are guys that are going to take this information tonight. They're going to get in their motor coaches with the crew chiefs. And what are they going to be doing, crew chief?
They're going to be going through the notes and saying, here's what our Busch car had in it yesterday, and we were good. This is what I want to see at least somewhat
put in that Winston Cup car.
And that's got to be more valuable than whatever this race pays.
Oh, yeah, that's so much good information. Tire wear, fuel, so many things that they can use for tomorrow's race.
Here's the results. Todd Bodine will hold on to the point lead with his 5th place finish behind the 3 Bushwhackers at the front of the field, plus Casey Kane, the first series regular across the line.
I'm going to tell you, people are always asking, who's the next new talent coming out of the Busch Series? And I was very impressed with Casey Kane and Shane Mill today, up at the front of the field all day long. And like I say, Todd Bodine, those guys doing what they need to do for this Busch Championship without a sponsor.
Oh, yeah, and they raced hard. I mean, there was a lot of side-by-side, 3 abreast racing, and they handled it well. I love the way they handled the pressure of that kind of racing at the end of the day.
Showed a lot of maturity.
A lot of maturity.
Only 8 cars ending up in the garage as we look ahead to tomorrow's 500-miler here for the Winston Cup Series. Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, guys. After 9 of 34 races in the Busch Series, Todd Bodine with the lead. Hornaday currently running second, Jeff Hammond.
Yeah, right there you're looking at a guy who knows how to win a championship in Ron Hornaday, and he's just getting stronger, I think, each week. And it's going to be real interesting to see how he and a veteran like David Green, who have won, David Green's been a former Busch Grand National champion. He's having a real strong run. Seems like each week his team going to get more cohesive. They've already won at Nashville just recently, and so as their programs come along, this point race is really starting to heat up.
Matt Kenseth started 19th, overcame a loitering lug nut, maybe the rally monkey, helping out a little bit to come and win this, a 3rd Busch Series win at the California Speedway. What do you think he'll take into tomorrow's Winston Cup race? And remember, he's hanging on to that points lead.
Well, I think the biggest thing he's going to be taking in there is the confidence, the fact he knows how to get around this racetrack. He wins here. He's very comfortable in this race car. I think he and Robbie Reiser, along with John Reiser, who runs this Busch operation, they'll be able to sit down tonight and kind of pick everything apart. If there's anything good to be taken from this race car today and put into tomorrow's car, it'll be there.
All right, your first Ford driver to win since Jeff Burton won at Lowe's Motor Speedway back in October. And you heard Kevin Harvick talk about changing the shock package on his car for the Cup car. He'll get ready tomorrow from the California Speedway. Continuing a full weekend across the Fox networks. NASCAR this morning begins at 10:30 Eastern. And then the Auto Club 500 presented by UPS. Jimmy Johnson trying to defend his title. More California drivers racing this weekend than from any other state as NASCAR continues across the Fox networks. And we could have the 10th different winner in the first 10 races of the year, and that would equal a NASCAR record if that's what happens tomorrow. Pre-race show 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific for the Auto Club 500. And for all of us here, Matt Kenseth pulling and winning his 13th career Busch Series victory. No driver has won both the Busch Series and Winston Cup California races on the same weekend. Matt Kenseth will try and do that. For all of us here, for the versatile Bobby Labonte, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.